Your game, Vivo V15 series, Vivo.
Welcome to the 2019 Fall Split. The PMCO is what we're with, and we're at the Wildcard group stage, sponsored by Vivo. I am Smash, this is Brainstorm, and we're here today to celebrate some epic gameplay.
We're celebrating.
We are celebrating. It's going to be a celebration.
Celebrating.
If you want some epic gameplay, you can get yourself the Vivo V15 Pro for seamless and uninterrupted gameplay with that game mode. It looks good. That advertisement's got me going. We've got Group A and Group C today from the wild card. We've got some big hitters in action. The 1 and 2 teams in the point standings at the moment in the wild card, they're in action today.
They are, so it's interesting. I think A and C are overall the groups that have had the better performances out of the wildcard teams we've seen thus far, so it'll be interesting to see how they go against each other. Speaking of that ad, by the way, the Vivo V15 Pro ad, every time I watch that, I think how cool it would be. It'd be chaotic and a mess, and it would probably ruin PUBG competitively. But it would be so cool if you could actually, like, when you compound crashed, actually just crash through a wall and drive to the lounge room and just mow everyone down.
It would be fantastic, but...
It'd be silly, but it'd be so cool.
Yeah, it would be a bit silly, but it would be an exciting element to the game.
Imagine Pachinki with like 4 squads on either side, just cars.
Like wrecking balls, basically, coming through.
Great.
Yeah, it would be alright. It would be alright. There's something, a new element to the game to add, maybe, in a bulldozer vehicle. We've got the combi van.
So many reasons it wouldn't work.
But this is the format that we're going to be running with. It is the group stage, 24 matches. We are in that first phase with those 4 groups. Today we'll find out a bit more about who's going to be eliminated as we lose 8 teams to the semi-finals. Another 24 matches to decide who moves into this top 16 teams. Then 10 matches will decide who is going to be the winner of the regional finals. Well, this is the wildcard region, if you haven't heard. It has been a fantastic game so far. Hot and heavy action. These are the points and how we're going to break them down. 20 for that chicken dinner, 14 for a second place. Third, you only get 10 points, so it's a big drop-off. It's half of what the first place team gets. Each kill, 1 point rewarded. That is different from our last split, which had 30 for that chicken dinner. Kills all the more important this season.
Absolutely that. And here is Group A and Group C. Teams to look out for, from what we've seen so far, would be SNG Club. Absolutely, they topped their group pretty well. Pardon me. Dodgy had some pretty good games for themselves as well. Justice also with Chicken
Justice,
Dinner.
yep. They Justice and SNG, the top 2 teams at the moment in the groups. ROYALE also coming in 6th at the moment, I believe. One of the Nova squads is up in that mixture. And the boy himself, John Wick, on Team 404. He was fragging out. I believe he's still our kill leader in the wildcard group stage. I think he's got 10 kills or something. Can he continue on his amazing form tonight?
You'd have to think he's close, right? If not the kill leader, then he put in, I think, like 13 kills, something like that.
Yeah, 13 kills maybe, yeah.
Somewhere around that mark. So had himself a good night. This is the second time we've seen these teams play now, or yeah, second time we've seen all these teams play. And it's worth noting as well that the bottom 8 teams will get eliminated after our 24 matches. Each team only plays 12 games. So by the end of tonight, all of these teams are 2/3 of the way through their games for the group stage. So the last couple of days in the initial games, we've sort of been telling the story that, yeah, if you have a couple of bad games, it's not the end of the world because you've still got a lot of games to go. But once tonight is over, you've played the majority of your games for the group stage. So it'll be very important, not so much for the top teams, but certainly the teams who are towards the bottom to have themselves some good performances here and move out of that bottom 8 because they're running out of opportunities to do so when tonight is done.
We do have some teams today that are in a bit of strife. We have RG, they're in a bit of strife. TG, Team Gravity, they're in a bit of strife too, sitting down at the bottom. They're 24 and 22 respectively. Deadly sitting at 30th position, Nova at 23 and FBI at 26th position. So all those teams need to get a wriggle on because they're running out of time. So today they're going to look to up themselves in the standings with a few points. Maybe a chicken dinner that would surely secure their safety into the next group.
You'd have to think so. We do have a slightly different map rotation as well. Once again, it's 2 games of Erangel, 1st and 4th, but then we do Vikendi and Miramar in the middle. Previously, we've had Sandhawk followed by Miramar, so we swapped that out for Vikendi. First time that we've seen it, first time I've had to cast it, or gotten to cast it, which is good fun.
It's the big boy maps. They're all the big maps they're in today. Miramar and Vikendi are those 8x8 maps. They are massive. Vikendi, very common for sniper rifles to be in play with those long fields, the long sight lines. Make sure you're wearing white, fellas, to hide in that snow too. Lots of rocks in play, some compounds. Mount Kresnik is obviously a popular place. If the circle ends there, we're in for some action too as we look down cliff faces, and that big ski lift is around there too. So that's always fun to get into, but it will be Erangel as our first map. This is the story so far of the wildcard though. We can see SNG Club and Justice sitting clear at the top. They are 20 points ahead of Duplay Team, which sits in 3rd. Marauders in 4th. AsiaGaming, who has had our biggest chicken dinner so far for our casts, in 5th. 6th Royale Squad 404, John Wick's team, and Nova Esports round out the top 8. It is pretty close at the bottom of that top 8, but those 2 teams at the front, they are looking solid.
And the standouts for me here really are SNG played so well, they're still in 1st, despite Justice having 2 chicken dinners, not 1, and then Marauders being so high up without a chicken dinner.
Yeah, they certainly have been getting those high placements and kill points as we go down to the next set of teams with 8 to 16 or 9 to 16. GoodBoys, DelayNoMore, Nomad, Dodgy with a chicken dinner in there. So almost half of their points came from one game, or surely over half of their points came from one game there.
Well, now we start looking at teams who are in danger, by the way. We lose the bottom 8, so everyone from 24 downwards is gone after the end of the group stage here.
We see Team Gravity with 16 placement points, but only 5 kills. They're going to need to get some more frags tonight if they want to get out of that relegation zone. SRY, FBI, BTLK, all in that relegation zone too. They're going to need to get a wriggle on, but we won't see them tonight. We'll see more action out of the bottom half, and those teams are going to know that the chances are running out, so maybe they'll play a bit more conservative and go for those placement points, or will they start to drop on each other and try and get those kill points? I want to see what strategies the teams deploy tonight. I'm leaning towards the safer route. I think
the other thing is though, if you do hot drop on people, you got to consider both sides. Not only can you get yourself some kill points if you're able to pick up that squad, but you also deny them points. If you hot drop on someone and knock them out in 11th to 16th place, they're only getting 1 point. So not only are you gaining points, but if you can drop on one of the other squads who's down the bottom with you, you deny them any points as well.
First of our big maps is on your screen now. It's Erangel, the map that we will get all too familiar with over the next couple of weeks, and this plane is an east to wester. And it is a bottom feeder, as it's only covering about 1/3 of the map. So this is going to interest me as where the drops are going to be.
Knowing our luck, wait for a supremely north circle.
Well, we haven't had a Stalber circle yet. We had one that looked like it was going to be there, but ended up shifting away at the last moment. We ended up going to Roshok, I believe. That was in the NA group. But we are in the wild card, and we see teams dropping out now, trying to find themselves all the way to Milta Power. There's lots of teams still in this plane. Sosnovka military base will be popular among some of these teams as well. This plane is a real doozy though. Pachinki might get filled up. Gatka, Hospital, Georgiapol, they are in range. Quarry, Primorsk. Teams tend to stay away from that type of area. Maybe one team will try and loot there. But you see a lot of teams not getting out of the plane just yet. As soon as they get in line with Pachinki, they get parallel with Pachinki, they get out quick. SNG are leaders on the board of the wildcard. They are out of the plane now, around about Pachinki. Will they try and dominate that area, or will they move on further north? Nova Monster Shield, I believe that is getting out, going south of that plane, as we see another bike pick up. It's a sidecar though, so we don't like to see that. That's shocking stuff.
It's very, very flippy, and we've seen that quite a few times already. The majority of teams, apart from pretty much the Nova Monster Shield guys, have gone north out of the plane, and
we're hearing
the
shots
circle
already.
is southwest. That's actually going to help Nova Monster Shield out. 3 players in a sidecar bike. If they have a spill here, this could be nasty.
That is a 3-man death trap waiting to happen if they stick around too long in that. There's some cool cosmetics there though. You see the dragon suit thing. That's pretty
Scared
cool.
every time they leave the ground. We've seen these things tip over at the drop of a hat. They're also about to potentially compound crash.
They are moving up to Lumber Mill, but Lumber Mill is already occupied, so get out of there, fellas. You don't want to be crashing in too early.
You certainly don't want to be compound crashing in a sidecar.
No, certainly not, and as well as they don't have any loot at all just yet. Oh, careful.
Okay.
Ooh.
This is, if in case you didn't know why the sidecar is a bad choice, you're getting all the examples you need. If you're on even a regular bike, which has less wheels, you think will be less stable? No, infinitely more stable.
Oh, we've got a bit of a tussle here over a car as 2 squads go at it.
None of them have anything. They're all running
No, they're going to run for your life. It's John Wick.
Literally,
get out of there, Johnny.
Away. This is the first time we've seen that. Normally, all of our early engagements have been guns, but this is the first time we've seen teams just be like, nah, we're out. What?
Okay, all right.
Oh, God.
A little bit of a lag bug there. I thought John Wick was going to end up on splat on the pavement, but turns out he did get on the car.
I've definitely died to teammates that way, just missed timing to get in the car button.
Certainly have. As we see the first circle pop though, it is a southern-western circle, so there is a bit of water in play. The military base is there. I don't know if it's going to go there though. It would need to hard shift a few times to get there, so I think it will be something around Quarry, maybe Gatka Fields, around that place, that area. That means that it's been kind, because the plane path kind of followed through there, went straight through the middle of that area, so it's been kind today. But what hasn't been kind is the looting for these teams. There are a lot of teams just running around in a car, 4-stack, 3-stacking, and they haven't been able to find a home to loot, which means there's going to be a lot of late rotators pulling in here. I think this compound's already been looted, fellas, and maybe not. Doors don't seem very open, so dropping a few off, get out.
Ghost Esports going to run and grab themselves some loot here. Does indeed look unlooted, so theirs is anything that they can find. Meanwhile, elsewhere on the map, we've got a couple teams setting up on opposite sides of the village here.
Some more scraps. Looks like teams just happy enough to stay away from each other at this current point in time.
I still enjoy the 3 players with no guns sprinting at a car, and then as soon as one gets it, all just sprinting away again. Just gentleman's agreement. None of us can fight each other. We're out.
Yeah, and you can't really go for those kills in the car this early, just because the turning circle on the cars is pretty big. And if you find yourself a tree as a player, you can kind of just juke around the tree several times, and it's just wasting time.
And it's not really worth going for those melee kills either.
No, South Georgiapol being occupied by these 2 squads here. Yeah, it seems like all quiet on the western front so far. South Georgiapol and North Georgiapol are being looted up by the teams at the moment. North Georgiapol is one of my favourite looting zones, just because there's so many apartment buildings you can get into and get some great loot. And it's pretty hard to compound crash those big apartments. There's 4 stories on them. Or 3 stories, or 4 stories. I think it's 4 stories. And they can be pretty difficult to climb the stairs there.
You better know the difference, mate. That'll affect rent prices pretty harshly.
It actually will affect rent prices, and unfortunately the city I'm living in has stupid crazy rent prices at the moment.
Same. Almost like we live in the same city.
Yep, we do. So we live in the same city, which is quite handy.
Indeed. See the NP guys, this is No Panic 2, if I recall my abbreviations correctly.
You would be correct.
Yay, first time for everything. We should be getting some looting up. They've got themselves
a
bike.
It's a wall, mate. You've run into that.
No. He's just compound crashing to loot.
Oh, yep.
That's how it works.
Insurance claim won't matter. They won't care if you're compound crashing or anything. They'll just...
imagine the life insurance payout on a PUBG game.
I don't think it would be very much. I don't think they'd insure it. They'd take one look at you, and unless you're one of these top teams like SNG, they'll be like, hang on, mate.
Cloud9.
Cloud9, yeah, they've been going great guns so far. As we see more movement coming out. This is around that hospital area, South Georgiapol area that we are on your screen now. Again, no action, which is quite surprising. We had we had team 404 running around, compound crashing, getting early kills. All of our first group stage day for the wildcard group, they had a lot of action early on, especially on Erangel. They had a lot of action, but so far it's all been quiet. Maybe 404 didn't get the start that they needed. We saw John Wick running away with his tail between his legs earlier, so maybe they didn't get quite the start they wanted to go aggressive.
I know it's a bad idea because it's pretty even who's going to win a melee engagement, and you're not likely to get too much out of it in terms of loot or anything, so not really worth going for. But I still would love to see just like a hot drop punch up. It'd be so silly.
If John Wick was in a hot drop punch up, oh, you'd have to back him every day of the week. Have you seen what he can do? Oh yeah, pen. He needs a pen or anything. Pretty sure he could take a world on with a toothpick that way.
I mean, there's 3 movies and he used a lot of things, so...
He has used a lot of things.
If you haven't seen them all, by the way, do you recommend?
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Anyway, back to PUBG Mobile here, rather than movies. We got Ghost on the move. Traveling through the towns here, potentially doing some final looting. They do have a whole bunch of cars, so rotation will be pretty easy for them.
That is the Asnaya rotation that they are having to do. That is far out of the circle, as the circle is encroaching now. It's not going to do the most amount of damage this early on, but it will just tickle, work away those meds, and if you do get engaged on the edge of the circle and you're about half HP, that's not where you want to be, because
Playzone will confirm you.
Playzone will confirm you, but you also only need 1 or 2 shots and you'll go down. This is a very tricky field to navigate through when you're driving, so just be careful, please, fellas. Get some air there, that's nice. We've seen some awful driving in this PMCO fall split so far. Yep.
Just like that.
Alright, that doesn't break. It should break, but it doesn't.
Well, that's like the conversation we were having earlier. Just every wall you crash into should break.
That's a dinky little wood shed, and that should break.
You're right.
But, unfortunately, didn't have the velocity to break that. Just there as we see more air coming out.
Oh,
that was big air, actually.
That's almost a stack. Bit of a nose stall there, but you know what? They've recovered it, so some style points for RG.
Yep, still roll. Oh, no. Oh. Come on, mate.
There we go. All right, 4 wheels on the ground, please. Not a motorbike. We don't like 2-wheel in here.
It's got the radio blaring.
Maybe the radio is ignoring his ability, or removing his ability to see bumps.
Yeah, it could do.
Or trees.
Distracted. Okay, that one you can go through. As we hear gunfire raining out in the Pachinki area as these teams start to rotate in. We have a few teams on the south side. We've got Nova Monster on the south side near Ferry Pier, looking to camp the bridge, really, which is quite strange. We haven't seen that much of that action going down. Oh, come on, fella. Got your license out of a cereal box, did you, big boy? Oh, Jesus.
Either that or he was part of the generation before us in Australia where you could just get your license by showing up with a car.
Yeah,
I think that's how it worked like 30 years ago.
Yeah. It's quite easy to get your license way back in the day. All those baby boomers running around now, driving, scaring the life out of me on the road.
I'm glad all 2 Australians watching will understand what we're talking about.
Yep.
Probably keep it a bit more on topic for those who have no idea, but the basic concept is much more stringent requirements to get a license now. This could be difficult for the motorbike, moving so slow.
Oh, this is PQ taking shots on towards the team here coming. Oh, they're getting very low. This is a very far distance from the circle. They are in that South Georgia Bowl area, just north of the circle. So these teams are going to have to expend a lot of medications to get themselves back into fighting condition. They do have, they are in the bike and they've rotated away quite quickly as Nova, one of the players going down quickly there. That looks to be, yeah, Nova onto RS. 404, Kenny has been knocked as well. S7 getting into it. John Wick is already in the kill feed, but he's been knocked down by S7.
Might even be confirmed there as well. All these players very, very close to each other. 2 actually down here for 404. And it should be a couple of free confirms. And there goes both 404 players. John Wick's down as well.
John Wick out of the game already. He gets 1 knock, but can't add to his big tally that he did have on the first day. So unfortunate for them. S7, they will clean up some kills. Nova, the team that is on top of the 2 sister teams, goes and we'll find out it's going all out for young and old down here. And Nova will end up cleaning it up, I believe.
So it looks like they've got the better of it, and that should be our first team eliminated. There you go. Yep. RS are out of here. Royale squad, a team who have previously claimed for themselves a chicken dinner on day number 1, get eliminated in 16th place here. Now, the good thing for them is that they do have a chicken dinner. They're doing pretty okay in the overall leaderboard. So they're not going to be under pressure of falling into that top 8 from a 1 or 2 point game here, but you still want to avoid those where you can, because first we get rid of the top 8, but then, or the bottom 8, then we get rid of the next bottom 8, which means we're at half the teams gone before we move into the regional finals. So you want to give yourself as much of a buffer as you can moving into that next elimination phase.
Certainly do. Royale squad are sitting in 6th, so they'll be, you would assume, unless tragedy strikes, they would be safe for this phase of the game as we see a knock come through. It is the play zone taking out one of the RG members, and they can't afford to lose members because they are sitting in 32nd place, the bottom of the barrel right now. They are the last place team in the wildcard, so they can't afford to be losing members at this point of the game. 4-4 under more pressure by S7. This is PQ on board with them as they do end up finding this engagement onto DS. It seems like this is going all the way of PQ as well, as all these players are pretty healthy.
A nade could be nice here, but actually we'll get the knock, so there's a bit of pressure on as well, but a lot of gunfire actually towards these players here, and it should be pretty much all over for most of DS here. They've got one more player who'll get knocked. They do have one up on top of the hills here, but he's a long way out of this.
Deadly squad, only down to one member at the moment. And he is booking it out of there. He's taking some pot shots back, trying to get this player out in the open, but he does manage to find himself behind the rock. This Deadly squad player is playing on Everest. He's all alone up there, but it is not really in the play zone.
He needs a Serb and Hillary to help him out.
He needs a Sherpa to let him help him down.
Wait, no, Hillary's the one who got up. Who is it? Damn it. I do know the name of his Sherpa, and I'm not. I really wanted that to be a really cool first people to climb Everest joke and a reference, and it's not.
It's just failed. But that's all right. Tried your best. That's what matters. More trying from this lone player from Deadly Squad as he's trying to get any sort of points for his team.
They desperately need them as well. I think they're not. I mean, not desperately, but they don't want to go out this early as the circle shifts towards the central south.
30th Deadly Squad at the moment.
30th. Goodness me, I didn't think it was that bad.
They are definitely struggling at the moment. They need any points they can get. And this is why you see this man taking so many risks, peeking over and over and over again. He's the last man in his squad. A Lone Ranger up against the might of PQ.
And they don't want to leave here either. They're happy to hang around, try and confirm this kill. They're looking for it, and the zone's going to push him out as well eventually.
They can't hang around for too long because the zone has hard shifted towards the lighthouse area south of Pachinki. That coastline is now prime real estate as we are on board with PQ still, waiting for this last man, but we don't see him to go for too long. This is DDS gaming on. At the moment, it seems they're gaming on S7, who have taken a few good fights. They've got a few kills on the side of S7, but you can see all those players are so low. One player has been knocked out. The grenades fly in. They're not rolling down far enough just yet. DDS probably don't know the health of these players. Otherwise, they would be pushing one of the players getting up a little bit as the nade finally knocks out one of the players. Now they're going to know. They're going to know there's two players knocked out. Will they try to push or will they just hold their compound?
Looks like they want to get a move on here and try and eliminate S7 if they can. They are indeed. They're starting to posture towards them, continuing to throw grenades over the edge of this little incline here. There's a lot of smoke down, so S7 will be able to get their revives happening. So we should be back to a 4-on-4 here. And DDS, they've missed their moment to push, unfortunately. Yeah,
they have missed the moment just by a moment. If S7 come out and start winning these engage or even taking down a few players, DDS are going to regret that looking back in the VOD. If they do their VOD review, which most of these teams I assume will, as they are professionals, they're going to regret not taking that opportunity, playing a little bit more aggressive there. So we see more engagements going in as these teams rotate. Player from Deadly Squad has chosen to stay on top of the mountain as PQ are rotating in fast and heavy. More shots rain out from that DDS squad.
Looks like S7 are sort of torn between trying to find a new angle on DDS and disengaging now. They have got a few players who are gaining some distance and trying to get away, but Williams still down here, relatively in contention, pretty much where they have been fighting inside those smokes. Looks like he now wants to make a move. The rest of his team have called it quits, so it would be foolish to stick around here for too long. The smokes, the trees, and the rocks will provide him with enough cover. So he'll be able to get out. S7 will successfully disengage from this fight.
Dodgy will hold the God compound at the moment as this is one of the compounds left in the zone as we see more frags going out. That's one of the SNG guys getting knocked down. Our current leaders on the board. Justice is hanging around that fight too, so maybe if they learn that this is where the side of SNG is, they could push and try and take that overall leader position. As we see Dodgy hanging out in the bedroom. Bed's made, so that's nice. He's a good boy.
Oh, excellent.
You love to see that.
Yeah.
Nice and tidy.
If your mum comes in, she won't judge it too harshly.
Oh, no. Last thing you need is a nagging mother on you.
Circle once again moves south. This time, a lot of coastline and water
still in play. Water in play here. Yeah, DDS are still in the zone. as we see that final Deadly Squad player go out, and that will be them out in 15th place. So a shocking start for them. They need to pick it up a little bit in the next few games, or they could be facing elimination pretty quickly, as we see the side of Team Gravity rotating towards the beach line. FBI is there waiting for them. These are two squads that need points as much as possible. That's 24th versus 26th. Nova Monster are moving towards the coastline too, towards the bridge compound that is there. Fights could be breaking out on this coastline very quickly as TG have crashed straight on top of FBI. This is a battle of the beach.
S7 still hanging out in this compound now, but looking like they might want to get a move on. In the meantime, FBI and TG, as you say, battling on the beach. So too, NP getting some knocks. That's no panic too, getting some kills on the SNG Club, who are, as you said, our overall winners. 2 players get knocked from them as FBI, 2 players inside this compound to the 4 of TG coming in.
These 2 players from FBI are going to receive backup from the coastline as the players move in. It's going to be hard to crash this compound. TG very cautious here. Both of these teams on the precipice of elimination. They need points. They can't afford to be going out. As we see, not go in. Let's go to Esports, falling out of a car. Don't want to be falling out. Seatbelt on, please.
Absolutely that, as we do have still this fight coming in. TG, few of their players potentially in the open, but it looks like they got some cover from smokes and cars for now, and the zone starting to come in here as well.
Yeah, DDS and S7 starting to trade out kills on that compound. We saw that fight go on earlier as some of these SNG players are getting confirmed
Well, they
kills.
might be out here.
They're hurting, that's for sure.
That should be one left, looking at the kill feed there, I believe.
Should only be one left on the side of SNG. And he has crashed into the bridge, into the beach, so he is in the middle of the circle. He'll be taking as many points as he can, as the side of NG are starting to get picked up those kills on RG. RG definitely need points as well. DDS is getting knocked out by S7. This compound crash is going either way at the moment. They're just trading back and forth. One player gets confirmed from the side of S7, one player very low. One nade could end it all, but I think that Dodgy have used all their nades on a previous engagement, as we see RG taking losses more to the side of NG. That's not good stuff for them. They're not going to like that.
Oh, out in 14th when they are in our 32nd place. It's not looking too good for them. They are... Well, they've still got, what, 7 games left to be played? But that's not a lot of time to make up for how little points they've gained in the previous 5. So a lot of work for them yet to do if they want to avoid elimination here. In the meantime, 404 and Nova getting into it. Kills going both way. S7 and DDS still fighting here. Players knocked for DDS. Has not been able to recover just yet. Inside the buildings as well. Multiple fights happening in different areas on the map. It's kind of difficult to keep up with at this point, but S7 and DDS as well will stay focused for now. Going to get a Molotov in to deny that window.
Knocks him out.
Straight up knocks Seaweed there.
Yeah, Seaweed's burning too. He can't get out of it. He's confirmed gone from that. Very difficult to get out of those Molotovs when you are stuck in them, knocked out as you're only crawling. There is 3 players alive on the side of S7. They're all up and walking about. There's only 2 on the side of Dodgy, and they might just get out of Dodge here in the Dacia. He's thinking about it. Maybe he's just taking some loot off his friend's body. He has a very damaged vest. Medicine isn't the best at the moment, as we see Justice taking some fire too. So both of our leaders are not having the smoothest game 1, as NP have been putting some hurt on them. The fight to our southwest of FBI and TG looks like it has settled down for the moment, as they have decided to call it a bit of a truce. Just as we see more knocks onto Nova from 404. That looks like the AWM in play. Very big gun, very scary one. 404, of course, only has 2 members alive, as 2 were knocked out previously in a compound crash went wrong.
DDS still looking, Dodgy as you say, still looking for these players here, but it looks like both teams have now mutually decided to call it quits. Okay.
Yep, he's hopping in the Dacia.
I thought the exhaust explosion was like a Molotov going off something. I was like, just blow up his car somehow. That's a tree.
Yeah, it is a tree.
And into the zone as well. Come on, boys.
Taking a bit of hurt here.
Have a pretty
They're going to rotate straight through
rotation. Actually, no, they are going straight through the last 404 player, but that should be the knocker to confirm. They're going to finish it with the car. Nope, never mind. Does get stolen by a gun in the car, but either way, that should be them out. I believe 404 error gone.
404 error gone. Very quickly, they were one of our teams inside the top 8. So more teams.
Players in the water here.
Yeah, there's some swimmers. Any swimmers?
Any swimmers?
Certainly are there. As Sen gets a confirm onto NP. Justice, more frags onto the side of those who are in the water as well, as S7 are continuing to spam out here as they need to move into the circle. They are not in there just yet. The last player from SNG is on that coastline waiting for that rotation from S7, and Nova has found themselves in the middle of the circle. Both of the Nova squads are actually very close to each other, so a bit of sister team rivalry could go ahead there at the end of the game if it continues on. S7 at the moment, 4 kills in the bag. Oh, you're sliding. Ooh! Alright. He made it into the water eventually.
Yep, nope, we're fine. They're still falling in. Alright, well, that's not fun. Of course, when you're on the water, you're not really too much used to your teammates when fighting happens.
No, certainly not. As Unknown from TG gets knocked out, he did previously get a knock onto the squad of FBI, so both of those teams trading back and forth still in that southern compound as we see more knocks come down. That is one and confirmed.
A lot of nades onto Ghost here.
TG are hurting bad down in that southern fight as one of the dodgy players does get a finish on a Nova player.
Justice are looking for the knock on Ghost Esports here. They've knocked a few of their players low, they've got some grenades in as well, and now the zone's starting to come in as well, and this is one of those later zones, so it's going to start chunking away at health pretty quickly.
That is SNG out into 11th place. They tried to take the 5 vs S7 who rotated in from the coastline and couldn't make it work. It was the last player from SNG having a brave last stand there as teams start to dwindle. We are into our top 10 now, so the points increase from every position you gain now as a player from Ghost is knocked out by the play zone. 2. And yep, that is 2.
Are they just copying the play zone loss at this point to not give anyone points?
They are. They've got 1 player remaining, I believe, as TG and FBI continue to trade out. That is a confirmed kill onto the side of FBI as Ghost Gaming go out.
There they go. They must have just decided that it wasn't worth giving anyone else the points. They're feeling pretty happy where they are. Either that or they grossly miscalculated how much healing they had.
I'd want to say the former.
Surely. I mean, wait, there's still 2 players up. What?
From Ghost? Surely not.
On the left-hand side of your screen there.
Oh, yeah.
GES is Ghost.
Oh. Anyway, moving on.
Interesting.
FBI. I think FBI might have actually just got knocked out by the side of Team Gravity, as they are missing from the map now.
And Team Gravity are another team who will be looking for some big games, some big performances.
They come into today at 24th position, so they definitely need as many points as they can get. They've made themselves up
right on the
top
cusp
8
of elimination. Fortunately, they're only, they're the first of the bottom 8, so they don't have too far to climb to avoid elimination, but still don't want to be having bad games. They need a much stronger start than yesterday, where they found some good placement points. That was mostly due to 1 player just rank tanking, hanging out late and grabbing some placement points. Not really too many kills from them, so they'll be wanting to change that here as multiple kills do come in. Nova and NG going at it, so too Justice and TG. PQ getting involved in that fight as well. All of a sudden, actually, it's PQ mopping up both teams before the trades start to come on in, and it does look like this PQ boys are getting the better of this. Dodgy lose another one to the play zone as well.
Certainly are, and TG are getting peppered right now. I believe there's only 1 player alive for them still. Nova Monster are in the best position at the moment in this circle. They are central and they don't have to move. Justice have made themselves at home in the southern side of the circle. They are being flanked by PQ and those last 2 Ghost players as Nova Monster are continuing to rain hell from this compound in the middle, or this hill line in the middle, and that is Ghost finally going down. Sen hitting a knock onto Nova, who are a few strong still. I believe there's only 1 or 2 players remaining in that squad. Sen gets taken out. That's TG out in 6th.
That's better. They got, I think they got a couple of kills, and 6th, goodness, pardon me, is once again good placement points.
That is, yep, better placement points than what they are used to. Well, to be fair, they got a fair few placement points. I believe there were something like 15 of their points were placement points. And
yeah, they just weren't getting many kills because they wound up rank tanking. So they were looking for some more kills here, but if they can keep the consistent points up, then that's better than going out 16th every time. Placement points, I should say.
We are down to our final 5 as things start to slow down as the Defilate removes line of sight from these players. The grenades are going to be flying if they have any utility left.
There's been a lot of grenades thrown so far this map, so I'm not sure there will be too much happening.
Justice has been the quiet achiever in this game so far. Only 1 kill, but they have found themselves in good position with 4 players up as we see more knocks come out. That is Nova Monster onto Nova, so a bit of sibling rivalry going on there. PQ coming in and chiming in.
Being inappropriate.
One of the Ghost Gaming guys from the shoreline has got a knock onto the Nova Monster fellas, but in return, Justice has heard those shots rain out and has turned their focus to them. Only 1 player from GE left alive, and he is not long for this world. They will go out in 5th.
And again, we thought they were out earlier to the play zone, so things will be worse for them, I suppose. Justice and PQ still just on the opposite side of this ridge line, and other teams now starting to come in too as the circle shrinks yet again, heading southwest.
We've got 3 teams remaining. Justice 4 strong. Well, we actually have 4 teams remaining. Nova's got 1 little player out on the outskirts. He has to move in though, and Nova Monster know where he is, so who have a rough time getting in there. PQ, they are doing very well. 3 alive at the moment. Decent positioning, but Justice, I believe, is in the box seat. Unless they start to take unfavorable fights and get third party. Getting third parties. That was a big AWM shot from Justice player. That's a nice knock. Yeah, that is a big knock.
And Justice looks like they might even want to poke over towards PQ now. And yeah, look, it sounds great.
Sounds fantastic. It does a lot of damage too.
A lot of games have a variant of the AWM in them, and it's one of my favorite guns in almost every game that it appears in. It's so good.
It does sound very, very good, as Nova wants to get the last player from their sister team, Nova. Nova Monster have been in the lower position of these two squads. They are in 23rd position, so this is a big game for them.
Justice here looking to take down PQ, but instead popping some damage themselves. 2 players down, and
this is a grenade.
This is a very good grenade. Justice are the only 4-player squad with 2 players knocked down.
But they've got 2 players knocked now. And the one confirmed.
That grenade was very close indeed. They should be able to get the reses off here, but it's only... Oh, never mind. The player's pro, not knocked. I can't see, apparently. So
Nova Monster now. They've heard all this fighting. They know what's going on. They choose not to push out of their compound. They are just kind of sneaking in towards the middle of the play zone. They know that those 2 squads have seen each other and are engaging on each other.
Circle's about to move again as well as the zone gets in closer and closer.
I believe this is our last one
which of these, yeah, it should be the last movement. So we'll see which of these teams it ends up favoring in just a second here.
It should work its way towards the middle of the circle that it is currently in. It's actually moved south, so this is the last one.
PQ are in perfect position inside the circle. Nova Monster are going to have to move. Justice pretty close to the edge of things here, but Nova Monster will be the ones to either make the play on rotation or they're going to get picked off on rotations. They've got to go straight up this hill, coming over a ridge line where the enemy will see you before you see them if they're looking the right way.
It is make or break time for Nova, as they're going to use all their utility to rotate through here. If they have anything left, now's the time to pull it out, boys, because this is going to be the mad dash into that Wizard Tower, perhaps. The Wizard Tower is pretty central. You could play around that. You don't want to get stuck in it, though.
Right outside the door. And exactly that is, you don't want to get stuck in that Wizard Tower. There's no way out of it. Justice are moving away, though, so maybe there's a chance here. Nova Monster, though, that zone will be moving in 5 seconds, so they've got to figure something out here. This final zone does a lot of damage.
It does certainly do a lot of damage. PQ are having a nice little spread out prone party in the bushes. Lots of snakes in the field at the moment. Nova on the move. They are moving together as a unit. I think Justice have expended all of their utility currently, so fears of a grenade won't be too harsh, as we see some smokes going out between PQ and Justice to limit that line of sight. They have made it to the Wizard Tower, I believe, on the side of Nova. One player is knocked by TMG from Justice. He's going to try and get the confirmed kill. He's got the second player from Nova too, so there's only 1 player from Nova alive now. TG has done so much work here. CM is now wise to the party. Are they going to try and push in? They have seen 2 knocks. TMG, he's going for the third. He gets third. That's 3 kills for TMG. He's wiped out the party now. They focus their attention to PQ. PQ has 1 player down, and Justice has gone sicko mode at the end of this game. It is 1 player left from PQ, I believe. Oh, it's 2 now. It's 2, so...
But they've still got utility here on the side of Justice to work with. They're going to throw out a whole bunch of smokes here. They're pretty much walling off the entire PQ lineup, and they're going to try and get CM in on the flank here. He can crawl through these smokes and try and backdoor them. As we hit the split screen, you can see where exactly these 2 players are. This line of smokes will shut off Justice, but also gives nothing to PQ, and they've lost a player as well. Down to just the 1 here for PG. This should be the second chicken dinner here for Justice in just a second. They do get the confirm, and there it is. It'll be Justice to grab themselves a chicken dinner on our first game of the day on Erangel for Group A versus Group C. 9 kills for them with a chicken dinner. Look at PQ, though. Very even fragging for them. 8 kills, 2 per player.
Sharing the workload around is PQ, and that's a good result for PQ. They weren't setting the world on fire in our first round robin of groups, but they are doing a good job here. That's the first time that SNG haven't placed in the top 3, by the way. So out of the 4 games we've had already from them, they place top 3 every single time. Justice getting the chicken dinner, though, that's going to increase their lead. We saw SNG and Justice way ahead of the rest, 20 points plus ahead of the rest of the pack.
2 points between them, I think, as well.
Yeah, so Justice will move up into that first position, and they'll claim a healthy lead off this chicken dinner too. 9 kill chicken dinner, that's 29 points. They'll move ahead.
Especially when SNG went out in 14th, I think, so they're not getting many points from this one either.
They certainly didn't get the points they required to retain that first place. As you see the highlights coming out the split screen at the end, capturing all the action. A very well played game from our teams. We had a nice circle, a rough plane, but a nice circle to go with it. Not a lot of rotating that needed to be done by those teams that did land south of Pochinki and on the coastline there. The Ferry Pier was in action. Haven't seen that in a while. That was a good game to have out. Good, well played by TG too. That was a team that had been struggling previously, but to get themselves up to 6th place with some kills as well. So well done to them. They're turning their fortunes around.
And on the flip side of that coin, unfortunately, RG Star still went out very, very low down. I can't remember exactly where. I think it was like 15th, 14th, somewhere like that. Very, very early on indeed. And they are, of course, our team currently in 32nd place. So still just over half the games to be played in their remaining night and 3/4, I suppose, of PUBG Mobile here at the PMCO 2019 full split. But staring down the barrel, they've got to have quite the big turnaround here. They've got 7 games to pick it up and move up 8 places.
It's going to be difficult for them, but they need to put the right foot in the right direction and start moving. Nova Monster, one of the teams that were in that elimination zone, getting a 3rd place there. Not many kills, but they did manage to get themselves up to 3rd place, so that's good points for them. Considering that bottom half of the bracket, or these elimination teams are kind of flirting with those under 20-point places. Getting 6 points from a 3rd place is a pretty big chunk of change.
That's the thing, yeah, because I think it was our bottom 3 or 4 teams of 32 are all on single-digit points.
They certainly are, and it's rough to tell who's going to come out on top here. One of these bottom teams needs to get back into, as we see the leaderboard from that game, a 29-point collection for Justice and a chicken dinner to go with it. PUBG Quaz getting a 22 kill. We see the kills split evenly at the top. Yeah,
3rd and 4th.
Nova, that's a good result for them, I believe. There's 7 kills for the Nova Esports squad and their sister team Nova Monster Shield getting only 3 but 10 placement points. They went out in 3rd and 4th. Gravity getting up to 5th, in fact, so 6 placement points and 6 kills.
6 kills. That's a really big turnaround from them.
That is excellent work from them. Dodgy, who we saw have that compound for the most of the game, fighting off against S7. They managed to take 1 player and keep them alive. Royal Squad, Deadly Squad. The squads are not on fire today as those two go out pretty early. RG Star as well. All those teams are flirting with eliminations. They need to get a reel on.
SNG out in 11th. They do get 2 kills. They get some points at least, but having a look, pardon me, at our overall standings now, Justice, the first team to break triple digits and with 3 chicken dinners as well.
We see Dodgy move into the top 8 as well. PUBG Quaz going up as well. AsiaGaming obviously not playing tonight, so they will get their chance at another date. Nova Esports moving up into the 3rd place too, so they're starting to get some momentum going to this. No chicken dinner quite yet, but I have a feeling we might see a Nova chicken dinner tonight from that start. They did secure 3rd and 4th place respectively.
And this shows both how big the gap is between 1st and 2nd and the rest of the field, and also how well some of these teams who haven't been rewarded with chicken dinners have been playing. Nova and Marauders both up in the top 5 with no chicken dinners. And it is worth noting, of course, that some of the teams in this pack are not gaining any more points for tonight because they will be playing tomorrow night, and we hit Group B and D. So some of these teams, it's not quite fair to say, oh, look, they're going down the scoreboard because, of course, they're not getting any points tonight. But still, it's good to see that we do have teams who can make it into good positions without managing to get a chicken dinner.
They certainly are, as we see the Gravity, the big movers of that game, I believe. It's
7 points.
Almost doubled their point. Yeah, RG Star, way too champion, Deadly Squad. So we have Deadly Squad and RG Star playing tonight. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to add much to their point tally. As we see the kill leaders go on, John Wick has been overtaken by this Justice and Krasva. Krasva had a few kills there. He was the last member of our SNG remaining in that squad. Deadly Squad also bringing out in 4th place, having a player there, as well as GoodBoys. Team I didn't expect to see up there, but apparently he's been fragging out, so good on him. John Wick, though, he had a quiet one. He's my boy. He's the player I want to watch. He's the star.
He got knocked like first of his entire team really early on. So you're not really going to take too much away from that one. The other one, of course, is that we do have a Justice player sitting up in 1st place. Chiyu, I believe. Goodness, I'm going to be okay. We'll get in there. But yeah, sitting up on 15 kills. That's a big performance, and what we expect, really, when Justice are the only team who have claimed, well, more than 2 chicken dinners. They've got 3 now, I believe.
They have got 3 now. I think they do have 3 now.
Sure,
but they've also broken the 100-point barrier, so they're back into first team into the triple digits. They're at 110, 112 points, something like that.
We have a team in triple digits. We have 2 teams in single digits.
Yeah, that's not what you want to be seeing if you are those teams in single digits right now. After 5 games, single digits, it's a bit rough. But anything can happen in the PMCO full split in the wildcard group. Maybe they come out, they get a chicken dinner, and all of a sudden their fortunes turn around.
I mean, I think this game is going to be a pretty good indicator coming up of how we're going to go, as this will be visually the halfway point. This will be the 6th game the groups A and C have played, the 2nd against each other, of the 12 that they will play for this group stage. So if those teams, I think it's RG Star and Deadly Squad, if those two can't turn it around and have at least an okay performance in this next game, then I'm not feeling so great about their chances of avoiding elimination.
Well, it is going to be Vikendi as well as our next map, and that's a map that is pretty new to the rotation. Also, so some of these teams might not have practiced on it as much, so an underdog story could come through at that point. When they're a little bit more variable as well, the sniper is in place, maybe there's some good sniper players on RG or Deadly squad. Unfortunate though that they go out so early in game one. They would have liked to turn their fortune around, and they might have been sitting there thinking, oh no, it's happening all over again, we're going to have a shocker. Hopefully they can hold their mental and turn it around.
You'd hope so. And something I didn't actually look at on that scoreboard while it was up, we'll have to check it out, is I didn't see, but I'm assuming with that game that Gravity would have pushed themselves out of 24th place.
They certainly did. They pushed themselves well up the leaderboard there. I think they were on the second page, the 9 to 16 points. So well done for them. They'll be breathing a little bit easier, but they need to keep the momentum going. We're going to take a short break and be back soon, but I hope you join us. This is the PMCO Fall Split Wildcard Group of 2019. See you soon.
And Unicorn Gaming on the low ground as shots rain out.
Oh, this nade.
This nade could be beautiful. It
That
might
was a
catch
pretty
him
big
sleeping.
throw.
It got him.
That was
now
a
they
really
know.
nice nade.
That's one knock. PG have fallen or found. NG.
Fighting against Nomad, yeah.
Yes. They seem to be trading
They're
back.
going to get
and
all in
forth.
this car. This could be a block here for PQ.
He's pulled the trigger early and he's got 2 down already.
Goodness me. Good spray, but he is essentially 1v4 here. It doesn't look like his teammates are with him. Nomad just got knocked out in 6th place, but with 10 kills, so points are looking pretty good for them. Marauders and Duplay continuing with this battle here, trying to get some smokes out for cover, get themselves some room to maneuver, but Duplay picked up at the perfect time. They're just going to knock and to confirm onto Duran. All these players already down.
Push comes in from Unicorn
Oh my
Gaming.
goodness, big push.
They managed to take out 2 players here, so now it kind of evens it up. Now there's only 2 players on the side of DDS. In fact, there's 3 on Unicorn, still alive too, so suddenly the odds shift in their favor. 1 player knocked from each side is going to be a 3v3.
FJ pushing up around the smoke, trying to make the play. He
He's
will be
got
able to get the
1.
knock as well. Looking for the
Here's
confirms here.
2.
They're not ready for him behind this smoke. Still 1 player here, and he's way too close. Going to pretty much get
There's
team wiped
3.
by himself. I believe that's all of them. Nova are done just from this play from SJ. He just wiped out the entire team by himself. That
He's up
is
to
1 player.
PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. Anytime, anywhere. There is a better choice. PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. A quick game for those short breaks. There is a better choice. PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. Endless respawn, endless fun. There is a better choice.
your game. Vivo V15 Series. Vivo.
Welcome back to the Wildcard groups. Here we are at the PMCO Fall Split of 2019, sponsored by Vivo. And Vivo have this phone, Tim.
They
It's
do.
the V15 Pro, and it is a masterpiece of technology.
Tell me about it.
Well, it has the most immersive gameplay. It's so powerful, and it will secure you a glorious chicken dinner. And once you get your chicken dinner, you can sit back, relax, and you can watch the replays of today on that YouTube channel, PUBG Mobile Esports. That's where you're going to catch all the action.
But what do they do if they don't have the game to
Well,
get a glorious chicken dinner?
Well, to get a glorious chicken dinner, you need to download the game. You can find
True.
that on the Google Play Store and the iOS App Store. That's where you're going to get into the action, and that's where you're going to try and replicate what Justice has been doing to this wildcard group stage. They are at 112 points, well clear of the competition so far, as SNG did bow out a bit earlier today, or a bit earlier in that game today. So
Yeah, I think they're at an 11th, if I remember
yeah, they went
correctly.
off in the 1 point zone. So that's the way you don't want to be. You don't want to be in the 1 point zone. That's
Yeah.
the bad stuff there.
But fortunately, they're one of the few teams who can afford to go out in a position like that, as they do have a big point buffer coming in from yesterday. So, again, we are just, pardon me, this is half the field that we have remaining, 16 of the 32 for the wildcard region. We've got 2 more nights for both halves, I guess. So,
Yep.
what, 6 more nights again, something like that in total? 4 more
Yep,
nights?
I think it's
don't
4
know.
more nights in total.
It's a lot. Both teams have to play, or both sets of teams, I should say, have to play 12 games. So we've got, it'll be 8 games done for groups A and C after tonight, and then B and D tomorrow night, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of numbers, there's a lot of maths. I don't do maths on stream because I'm bad at it. But either way, tonight we will pass the halfway point for groups A and C. So you do want to put yourself up nice and high as well, because the other thing you've got to consider, sure, if you don't have a good game tonight, or games tonight, you're probably cementing yourself in the bottom 8. But the other thing you've got to consider is that you don't want to be too comfortable with only varying amounts of success, right? Because you got to remember that you might have 3, let's say you do pretty well and you have 3 15 to 20 point games tonight.
Yep.
That's pretty good, right? That's like good placing, good kills. But the problem is, you're going to jump up a whole ton of positions because half of the field are not earning points at the moment.
Correct.
So you got to try and get above whatever potential points might be earned tomorrow night when you're not playing.
You want to get yourself above the threshold and get yourself into a secure position, because you don't want to be relying on other teams when it comes to elimination. You don't want to be one of those teams sitting at, the 20th place mark, maybe the 16 to 20
Just
place
praying
mark.
for certain teams to lose.
That's not where you want to be. You want to control your own destiny. You don't want to be relying on others in mobile esports, especially in esports in general. You want to be in control. In control at the moment.
It is fun though, like for us. We
Oh,
wanna,
certainly. It paints some beautiful storylines.
Sorry, I kind of cut off a point there. I'll let you. Well, hold that thought. Justice. Remember that for Ben. What I was going to say was, it does paint some exciting storylines for us because we get to theory craft for hours on if this team does this well, then this team's out, and if this team does poorly, then this team's in, and so on and so forth, which is great fun.
It does paint beautiful storylines and a lot of excitement as they come in. Now,
Justice.
What I want to talk about Justice is they've overtaken now. They're at the top of the kill board and they are at the top of the points board. How far can they go? This is obviously the first stage of groups, so they will points will be reset into the next 24 games. So they making a mark at the moment. I want to know if there's anyone that's going to catch up to them.
Well,
I
goodness.
think that SNG are close enough to do it
Yeah.
if Justice have a bad game. Going on to Vikendi soon.
The big thing for me
It's
though
a different one.
is that Justice have played 5 games so far. They've got 3 chicken dinners.
That is a lot of chicken dinners.
60% success rate.
That's almost a chicken dinner for each member, Tim.
That is. That's a lot of food. They won't be going hungry.
Well, one man is going
One
hungry at
man's
the
going
moment.
hungry. Watch them now get another get another chicken dinner.
They need to get another chicken dinner for their boy. Got to feed them all.
Either way, we haven't seen any other teams even getting close to that amount of wins, which is why we currently have only one team in the triple digits when it comes to points. That is Justice sitting 112, you said?
Yeah, I think it's about 112 from memory.
The next team below them is, I think SNG wound up in the low 90s?
Maybe the low
something like that.
90s, late 80s, which is still a handy amount of points. You'd say they're very
the ladies,
safe.
as they're
The
not
ladies.
known.
Yeah. That's a handy amount of points, and you'd assume that they would be safe from the elimination in the first stage with that.
I'm sure at this point they could go out in 16th place with 0 kills for the remainder of the games, and I don't think everyone else is going to catch them. Now, here's something new. Vikendi, for the first time. It's one of our medium-sized maps, 6x6. The biggest maps being Erangel and Miramar at 8x8. So this is in between them and Sandhawk. And first time we've seen it on at PMCO 2019.
It is the first time we've seen it. It is a beautiful map as we see the plane passing over it now. Wonder what color the plane will get painted by the players today. It is the Dragon coming out. It's the Dragon plane, and it is a beautiful plane path actually. It's almost dead center of the island, cutting it in half, going from northwest to southeast.
I do want to know who gets to choose the skin that gets put on the plane. Do they vote?
I think it's like the highest. Like I think there might be a battle pass that you spend points on in Redeemer. I'll have to do some research into that one. It is a very cool, unique type of deal, though. As we see plane go out, I want to know who's going to get Dino Park. That's my favorite place to drop on this map. It gets a bit silly in there in the maze.
Please, there are actually dinosaurs. I'm not seeing Vikendi much.
Yes, there is dinosaurs in Dino Park, dinosaur statues. There is a roller coaster. There is a maze. It is
Can you get a Velociraptor to fight for you?
No, unfortunately he's just a statue. He's not actually active, otherwise that would be terrifying.
That would be, it's just Jurassic Park. It's the whole server versus the dinosaurs. Speaking of dinosaurs, the circle is over Dinosaur Park. It's incredibly western, and just under half of it is water.
That is not a circle you want to see if you are the players coming out of that plane going to the eastern side, as we see teams going towards the Cosmodrome. NG going all the way out there. Not a place you see looted very often. TG obviously playing, well not obviously, but they are playing in that southern side of the map, the southern tip of the iceberg that is Vikendi. It's not actually an iceberg, it's a mountain, but...
It's got snow in it, I'll allow it. So, there's icebergs in the very top of the map.
Yeah, it is. So maybe this
not playable, but they're up there.
I don't think it would be playable ever. Man, imagine trying to do this on an iceberg.
Wouldn't that be great? The circle pops so far north, you've actually got to leave the bounds of the map and go to the icebergs that are like the very top.
Why don't you throw a Molotov or a HE grenade or something, you know?
Global warming.
Global warming does happen if you throw a Molotov on an iceberg, so please do not throw Molotovs onto icebergs.
Disclaimer, not at all how that works.
Polar bears, penguins, they are angry, and they'll write angry letters to you and your local parliament representative.
Penguins are angry. No, these aren't getting any better.
These aren't getting any better as the night goes
I
on.
will warm into having good jokes in about 3 weeks.
We see only a few squads in the middle of the circle, so far, as it has kind of centered onto that Mavatra. Dino Park in play as well. Viha, I believe that is pronounced Viha.
Mavatra.
Mavatra.
We say everything in like terrible Russian accents. Does that make it more authentic?
It could do, as we see gunfire raining out. That is the G36, I believe, getting used here. Is a VSS on the back. Yeah, popular weapon of choice nowadays. As we see, some roof climbing, some parkour going on.
Hey, it's your boy John Wick with
a bison. In fact, so he's actually
never seen a bison in. Well, I mean, we haven't seen that many games so far, but I don't think we've seen a bison. Maybe
it is a Vikendi map special. Bison.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to say maybe we've seen one in the kill feed, but I'm not yet played Vikendi, which has been a little while since I've played PUBG.
A good spray, dodgy. They're feeling it.
They do have the smoke and the wall for cover. Luckily enough, Ghost, the namesake of the team. I wonder if it's actually named after him or if it's just a massive coincidence that Ghost and a player called Ghost.
Surely it's just a coincidence. You'd have to imagine it is just a coincidence.
That's it. If you come to a team and you're a team who's looking for an org and you say, hey, you're Ghost Esports, my name's Ghost, let's make this happen. That probably has actually no bearing on whether they make a decision or not, but I like to think it would.
Oh, I wouldn't make it. Well, maybe. You never know. As Nova Monster Shield make themselves into the middle of the zone. They had a good last game as they were at the bottom of the pot. It's 23rd place going into today, but they've moved up quite substantially, you would imagine, clutching a 3rd place finish in the last game. Got some more movement going on the side of DS, moving around. They were having a rough one. Deadly Squad, they were in 30th, and they had a rough game last one as well.
Indeed, and still a lot of time left for these teams to move. The zone is just starting to encroach on the very top corners of the map, but there's still just under 2 minutes until it gets on its way, so not going to see too much pressure on any of these teams just yet. Not
quite just yet. The northern side of the map is getting quite populated though, and we could see this guy's got the right idea. Seaweed. He's got the white custom skins on, so he can't be seen when he's proning in the snow. It's very well played from you, sir. This guy hasn't got it at all. He's got a big black backpack.
Yellow guns.
Yellow guns and all sorts. So you see a live standings. It is 88, so it is the ladies.
It's a very, very big game. Oh, a big gap, I should say. Previously, it was first and second close together and then a massive gap for the rest of the field. That's still the case. 18 points between second and third, but a similarly huge amount of points between first and second. So Just have got themselves quite a substantial lead here.
On board now with PQ, looting up. I believe that is FBI there, hanging out.
One player. This is just a little 1v1 at this point.
Yeah, they're having a peek. I don't know if they know each other's positions. FBI player is playing like he does know something is up, just holding that corner, using the third person to get some information. Well, there's a rotating team above them, Dodgy. You can see them in the top of your screen now, just moving around in the vehiculars. So he's just holding this wall. knows something's up.
His teammates will be joining him now as well. So backup has arrived. Reinforcements inbound.
Fellas rolling out.
I went for 2 military sounding things, and you just went for fellas rolling out.
Yep.
Australian Transformers.
Australian Transformers would
Fellas, roll out. Fellas, roll out.
I don't think Optimus would be too happy with that, actually. We
Goodness
have
me.
to see some action here. Dodgy onto PK. Oh, he's in the middle of the open. He gets headshot the first shot. Taken down and thirsted immediately. But the trade is there. PQ now under pressure from that Dodgy squad. They aren't actually that dodgy, but they are named Dodgy.
They're indeed. Very long-range spray here with that G36 from Killstealer. Not going to get too much out of it either.
That is a knock on to one of the players. The UMP used fire for the Dodgy squad. Oh, the Dodgy Gamers. As we see more action in that northern side of the map. We've got Ghost getting picked off as well. They're going to manage to get one of the kills onto NG, a knock early on.
With flank coming in here for Ghost as well. They might just be able to clean up most of these NG players. Gonzo too finding his way in, but there are Ghost players on all sides at this point. And while they do know about them, dealing with something different, but he's poked out just a fraction too far behind the tree there. That means Gonzo would have a chance to get back into this fight.
There's 2 NG players knocked, but there's also 2 Ghost players knocked, so it's pretty even Stevens at the moment. This is a fight that's going the way, I'd say, of Ghost. They're starting to get more and more knocks, but no, it's the Iron Sight AK. That's a gun that's very hard to be using. As we see FBI getting into the action versus Dodgy, and Dodgy looks like they're winning the better of that engagement as they're taking down player after player. On board with NG, though, pushing around this rock. He's going to find one down player and one alive player very low, and that is a squad out already.
That's our first team gone. Ghost will be the ones bowing out in 16th place.
So they managed to recover their situation last game after a bit of a rough start. They managed to recover up into that top 10 situation.
It's actually a pretty important recovery for NG there as well. Only one player up. They will now be able to get all 3 reses, but that was a bit touch and go on that one. Only one player remaining, and that does mean, unfortunately for Ghost, they're going out in 16th with no frags from that engagement.
It is unfortunate for them as FBI are still getting beset by Dodgy. Seaweed, the white-clothed man, is cleaning up over there, and I believe that could be almost the end of that squad, as there's only one FBI player I can see inside the circle hanging out. So we could be lone snaking for the rest of the game as the teams have made their way in successfully into the zone. TG still on that south side, Team Gravity, gravitating towards the zone.
Well done, well done.
Thank you.
Better than anything I've come up with so far. The circle is, or the zone, I should say, is now on its way in as we pass the 8.5 minute mark on this game. Still though, a reasonable way out. There's a lot of time and really not too many teams that are actually outside the zone now. It's pretty much just DDS and NG who are yet to make the move.
You can see inside that airdrop the AUG was claimed as more fights break out. This is SNG establishing their dominance versus RS. And they need to because they had a poor game 1, but this does not look like a poor game 2 at all. They have one player down, so they are only at half power, but...
Team Gravity is starting to pick up a few of the stragglers from this fight as well.
Yeah, they're looking like they are approaching this fight. They've heard the gunfire rain out, seen the knocks go through. They'll know that these teams aren't exactly at full strength as 2 players from RS have perished to the way of SNG. They are knocked down to 3 players though early, and they wouldn't be wanting that as one of the dominant teams from our first round of play. So we see Nova Monster. They have been sitting inside the circle for the longest amount of time, and you can see the loot reflects that. They have some level 3 military vest, a level 2 helmet.
They're only 3 players strong.
Yeah, it looks like one of the players didn't make it into the lobby, so that's quite unfortunate for them. Unlucky champion. Sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Because indeed, they will grab themselves a second bike, or a second vehicle here, I should say. Not sure what the other player is in, but they've got enough vehicles now, pardon me, to make this rotation happen. Disclaimer, I'm getting sick, which is why I'm struggling. This isn't just me being bad at my job. I promise I'm trying my best.
You are trying your best, and that's all that counts at the moment because these teams need to try their best. We see the kill leaders of the map so far.
See, look, that's the meta. It's your boy wearing white who's leading the kills.
Yep, he's hiding in the snow, and he's managed to happen as we do come into Dino Park now, Tim. This is what I was talking about. Look at them. This is a restaurant that we're going into now, or maybe a merchandise store. It looks like a merchandise store. You can't eat T-shirts.
I've seen the Jurassic movies. I wouldn't recommend being in the kitchen.
No, certainly not. It's where Velociraptors hunt, apparently.
Even though these ones are in statue, statue form. You can never trust them. Goodness me.
Statue form now. You see Night at the Museum. That's a scary one. Those things transform.
God, a combination movie of Night at the Museum and like Jurassic Park or Jurassic anything would be terrifying.
It would be shocking. You would not want
like,
to be...
the dinosaur in Night at the Museum is just like, it's a puppy. It's just chilling out, wants to play with its rib, which is actually kind of macabre now that I think about it. But anyway, 404 this time have not lost any players early on. Last game it was John Wick who went out, who is one of our top 5 kill scorers so far.
You mentioned you could kill with a Bison earlier, so that's pretty impressive from Johnny.
Because I don't think I've ever used it, because I haven't played Vikendi apart from like maybe twice. How is the Bison? Does it suck?
It's actually pretty powerful. I used it a lot when Vikendi came out because I actually like the Bison as a gun. It has a large clip,
games, the Bison
obviously.
is not ideal.
No, it has a large clip and it's fun to spray. And if you get a extendo mag on it, you get lots of ammo. It can be fun. But it's obviously it's not the most optimal gun. In a situation like if you want an AR, if you want to spray, you want to get an AR. If you want an SMG, you probably want
UMP. We see a lot of
UMP. You see a lot of maybe a mini Uzi. That thing fires pretty quickly, as we see 404's points in picture now. They're at 11th place on 47 points, and a lot of that has come credit of John Wick and his epic aiming gameplay. Placement points for them hasn't been the name of the game. It has been the kill points, I believe, as they haven't had a chicken dinner yet.
No, they haven't really had too many outstanding placings. They haven't been playing badly, but I think we're yet to see anything above, let's say maybe a top 6 from them. I'm not actually sure, I'd have to check, but I don't think they've seen too high placings from them.
Now, there is still a lot of water in this circle, so the next one you'd assume would move towards either Dino Park or maybe north. A little bit north of Dino Park. That's where I would predict this circle going, and if that's the case, the squad of DS, Deadly Squad, who have had a rough tournament so far, might be in the box seat as we see the rotations coming in. That is NG trying to rotate past the squad on a bike. That's scary stuff. A snowmobile. Tim, have you seen one of these before? They go like the clappers.
I have indeed seen one before, and they look fun, and they're nowhere near as unstable as the cyclists.
This is the rotation I was talking about. NP unable to land the shots onto NG as they rotate in, so it's quite unfortunate for them. DDS, they are rotating through another squad now, getting shot at, getting lit up.
Quick check for you, by the way. At the start of today, obviously this will have changed a bit because we've played a couple of games, but at the start of the day, 404 Era were in 8th place after 4 games with 22 kill points and 23 placement points. So we've had some reasonable placements. They've had some reasonably consistent placing. They've been placing as much as they're killing, so, you know, you take that.
Well, that's good. As we see more rotations go through, the trigger discipline from this NP player. I'm not sure, is he falling asleep at the wheel? He should be spraying at these players for sure, unless he's got no ammo, which he does. Maybe he was alt-tabbed, answering his mum's text messages. Mum, not now, I'm gaming.
Mum, you can't pause online games. We've talked about this.
Certainly can't. Shout out to any of the mums at home that do try and pause online games. So you see more spraying coming in now. He's woken up. At G36.
Ooh, there's a
that's an M24, I believe, going out.
M24, yeah. Nothing gained from the shot, we just heard ring out. But still, a bit of long-range capability for them.
So the circle is now closing in more and more. Every second, the play zone reduces. Teams have found themselves most of the way in. Most of the compounds have been taken inside the zone. We see shots ring out in this town. This town ain't big enough for the two of us.
It's Justice and RG going at it.
And RG can't afford to go down here in this early position. They've had a shocker so far.
Yeah, they need to get themselves some kill points here, and they're going up against our current winners, current leaders. Justice is going to be a tough gunfight to win, but they'll start off the right way.
Yeah, they've got a knock. They've managed to find one. Justice now choosing to disengage from this fight. You can see one of the players running out. That grenade will not bend like Beckham, so I don't think it will clean up anything. Or maybe do a bit of a damage, but it's not bending enough. Hasn't got the right curve on it. I'll tell you who would bend that nade. Well, that was the wrong angle, but Nathan Lyon, Cricket Australia, he would have got a big off break on that.
More references that our non-Australian audience will not get. Actually, I suppose Wildcard. If we're going to have any Australian viewers, it's now, but it's also like 10 PM local time. So
yeah, something like
that.
Well, Australian references will be lost on our international viewers, unfortunately, because they are bloody good.
And we'll probably unintentionally continue to make them. But either way, Justice actually choosing to fall back from this one. They did lose the knock early on. They've been able to res that player, but perhaps not too keen to fight here. They will be able to, however, grab a car, and Well, it's not advisable to put all 4 players in the same car. This one is a 4-seater, so it'll do in a pinch.
It will. It's just an Uber X. Not the XL, not the Combi van. As the Justice players will rotate away. They've given up the fight. Rank 1 versus rank 32. Oh, don't you tip that. You need that.
I'm staggered they survived that.
Yep.
To be honest with you, that's very, very unlikely. And now Justice crashing the party here at this compound. They might have heard something on this team next to them, but maybe not.
Looks like they're pretty in the clear at the moment. It is a good compound to have, actually. I'm surprised nobody tried to take that. SNG is to the south of Justice. There are 2 leaders at the moment. I wouldn't mind seeing a fight between them. That would be some great gunplay out of those 2 squads. Very talented individuals.
Mate, you parked it terribly. Let me help you out.
Oh, he's failing his parking test and he pulls up like that.
That's a double park. That's illegal. Can't do that.
Yep. It's rude too. So you see the circle close in more and more. Is just moving more central. No hard shifts, no extreme angles just yet. Nobody getting bad RNG.
Still got the Dino Park and Mavatra still in play.
Mavatra might be the center of attention. That is the town that RG are sitting in at the moment, setting themselves up nicely. And teams all over the map right now. East side, chock-a-block. South side, chock-a-block. North side, you guessed it.
Chock-a-block.
Filled up to the brim, mate.
I did guess it. Look at me go knowing things. A crate has been helpfully delivered to the surf in the ocean. But there is another one next to Nova, so maybe they can grab that one if they so choose.
Got to watch out. A kill away with AWM might be really dangerous.
God, kill away with an AUG.
An AUG, yeah. Level 3
level
armor.
3 helmet.
Yeah, if he has the helmet on the kill away, mate, oof.
Advice for those at home, do not 1v1 a kill away.
Especially if it has a level 3 on it.
Just even if it
If he's
doesn't.
running around with a level 3 backpack, you never know what he's got in there.
Unless you can fight him on land. And even then.
Yeah, even then. You'd want to be quick and get away from it.
Well, we're really giving out a lot of relevant advice to the audience so far, I think.
Certainly are.
We're really helping out.
Had a slow one, as this is the Bison in use by S7's William. Don't know if that's the weapon of choice that I'd be choosing, holding a rooftop angle.
More bullets, more better. That's how it works.
Yep, no, that's one way to look at it. 53 in the clip.
Not the best way, but it's one way.
53 in the clip, so that's a 50 amount of bullets. As you see the roller coaster in Dino Park, bump cars are there. Method were playing with bump cars earlier. It did lead to their downfall. But we see the roller coaster and an ice cream stand as well. Don't mind an ice cream. Not in this weather, though.
Landmarks.
That seems like a dinosaur statue that's gone to the wayside there.
Or it's no, it's a giant crocodile.
Oh, it is a giant crocodile,
So it's
actually.
meant to be there. I wouldn't go in that water with a giant crocodile, but you know what? You do you, Mr. Novamaster, whose name I cannot quite read.
His name escapes us, but he is in the Dino Park having an absolute ball. Did he pay his entrance fee, though? Do you reckon he did?
I don't think there's anyone to really tell him to.
Yeah, you know, you're not wrong. But at the same time, pretty rude.
The only people on this map are already trying all to kill each other, so I don't think the added offense of not paying a ticket fee is going to add to or lessen that desire.
Triceratops featured in your view now. Bit of dinosaur knowledge dropped on you for your viewers at home.
Is that a Trident? I saw 2 horns, mate. You might have bamboozled them. Either way, 404,
Why is
your
it
boy
not a
John
little
Wick getting on the rotation now. They've got a whole bunch of vehicles, or 2 vehicles actually, and they're coming in behind some of these TG guys. Problem is, there's still 2 TG players up on high. There's 2 rotating in front, 2 on top of the hill. This is going to be nasty for them.
Spray's rolled out, but they're not going to get anything done with that as a tag goes onto the TG player. He wore that one in the face, actually. You can see that. That was from the car as well, so that's some good shooting out of 404. These guys have had some sharp aim throughout the tournament so far. And we see John Wick with a silenced M16, I believe. Usually, this team does give John Wick whatever he pleases. It's
and
often
he does continue to frag out with it. So.
Yeah, you often see him with the level 3 helmet, level 3 vest, level 3 backpack, the sniper rifle, whatever assault rifle he does choose. So having an M16, I assume that his team hasn't picked up much loot. We see the circle shift one more time.
4 squads inside Mavatra here.
Yeah, they are all over it with SNG approaching from the south as well. They've been held up there for quite a while. We see the shots going out onto his car. That is the Bison in action, and it is tickling them, Tim. It is tickling them as we see a M24 pick get there. That's PK getting
It's ambitious. I'll say that about the Bison. Also, that thing with a massive scope on top of it looks incredibly funny. And
You can put a 6x, I believe, on that. And I don't know what you'd be doing with a 6x on a Bison.
Do you want to know? I'll tell you. You're being very optimistic.
Yeah, you're praying, that's for sure.
Either way,
The old
not
Susie
really
Sixer.
punished for it just yet.
As we see, one
Name
of the
for all of
TG,
these.
one of the TG players has found themselves falling victim to the blue zone. They are quite a while away from their team, so I don't think they're going to be revived. I think they're going to leave that player to
Go down.
Yep.
Looks like we do have a Mavatra circle as well as the shift has happened. It's pretty much centered entirely on this city, and that's where the majority of the lobby is either currently located or heading, including FBI's lone player there coming in up the top, and he might just get run over by NP.
That is good news for the side of RG, one of the teams that have been sitting at the bottom of the leaderboard. They have been in this Mavatra town for quite a while, and they've got all the compound control that they could ever want. The only thing that could upset them is a big rush or a lot of grenades. So hopefully, for their sake, they don't wear any of those.
We did say this game was probably going to need to be a turning point for them, as they are still at the very, very bottom of not just this matchup, but the entire group sitting in 32nd. So they need to get themselves some serious points on the board to move out of that bottom 8, as this is our halfway game. This is game 6.
This is the halfway game, and we are halfway for this zone closing in. NP, they are holding the northern side of this circle. Teams are gambling on the fact that Mavatra will be in the play. We see PQ taking out 404. They're taking shots towards those vehicles as they rotate north. Dodgy Squad are in the area too. They're not called Dodgy Squad, but I keep calling them that. As we see John Wick get a trade frag. He has the M4 inside. Now he goes down to the UMP. They need to recover him immediately, otherwise they're going to have a bad time. Justice getting in on Nova Monster Shield, and John Wick is gone confirmed.
It's unfortunate for 404 losing their highest fragger. I think the real story for me here is just having a look at RG. Sure, they're not really fighting anyone right now, but considering their best score in a game up to this point has probably been about 3 points.
Yeah.
They're doing pretty well at this point. I mean, technically, actually, they're not, as we've had very few gunfights at this point. We're 22.5 minutes into the game. We still have 15 teams up, 47 alive. So
that is a very slow game.
They haven't really done anything just yet, but they're in a reasonable position too.
I'm counting one player up for 404, so they might be our next team to fall, as they are getting surrounded by a lot of squads coming in here. The last man trapped in a house. PQ know that he's there. Will they push in and try and get the kill? They will. They are greeted by a hail of bullet fire. They haven't quite finished the job just yet. Now they will. As they do lose one.
In 15th.
Yep, they lose one player, but they'll be happy enough with the trade. Dodgy might have heard the gunfire rain out.
Look at that zone. It shifted out of Mavatra.
It has shifted out of Mavatra. This is disastrous for that RG team because they have to get out of there now. S7 on the move, but NP, they've been in position on the control of the north side. Teams have tried to rotate towards them, but nobody has been so successful so far, as we see more shots go out. Nova Monster onto the Dodgy fellas. PQ as well, putting some fire in. Nova are coming in from the south to join this in a third-party way. PQ, they will hear the footsteps behind them. They're starting to spray as one of the men peek a little bit too wide, and he wears a face full of bullets for his trouble.
I believe that was a confirm there as well. Yeah, it is. Deadly Squad are out. And PQ now starting to take a bunch of losses as well.
Bad news bears for Deadly Squad as they continue a poor run. They started the day in 30th place, and they probably will be sitting around that place still, as they did exit last game in the 1 point region.
That's the problem as well. Like, for RG, you think they're doing really well to be alive this late, but because this game's been so slow, there's still two more chances for them to go out in that 1 point range, although PQ now starting to lead some members as well.
Aimlooker hits the thirst button, gets the confirm on the kill. Now he's going to be chasing down these last members of PQ are running with their tails between their legs. They need to get out of dodge. Right about now, they did have 6 kills to their name on the side of PQ, so they have had a higher fragging game. But
they had to hide for a sec with Justice going by in vehicles too.
They haven't had the positioning that they would have liked. Nova Monster have had only 3 members for this game. They've picked up 3 kills for their trouble too. So doing very well with their limited resources, as S7 has been knocked out by Justice. So there's 2 knocks already. So S7 are feeling the pain of that Justice train. They are sitting in the first place at the moment, the leaders of the pack. Trades go through. Yeah, and this is S7. S7 really taking a beating here. There's 1 man up.
Look at the res. It looks like pretty safely. No one from Justice will be able to get into that bathroom, but they know he's in there now.
Not yet.
They should have spotted that res player going in, maybe? They might just have that info, but it doesn't matter if they can. They've left it, I should say. It takes long. They've chosen not to pursue it. So F7 will get 1 more up. William, though, look how scared he is of this. He's having to use the smoke. 2 smokes.
Where's your Bison now,
Just to
William?
get out of the bathroom. still in his back there. There it is, right-hand side of the pack.
You shouldn't smoke in the bathroom, by the way.
He's done it 3 times, man. And look how much utility they're having to expend just to get out of here. They're so terrified of Justice, I don't blame them. Meanwhile, several fights breaking out elsewhere. 36 players up, but still 13 teams. We've had a lot of kills, but all spread out thus far. No real team action going down.
This is everyone trying to rotate out of Mavatra as we see more knocks going down. Sent from TG.
Good comms.
It's Noxes, yeah.
Spotted him and called it out. Teammate runs in with a mini Uzi.
Stuff from the boys as more knocks come through. SL and William will be knocked out by a... And we see TG taking a beating too on that western coast. They are really struggling to get into this game, and that's them out, I believe, as they do fall into 13th places. Dodgy is putting the hurt onto them and finishing them off. NG, who have been in the circle for the longest time. Oh no, they haven't. They've been on the south side. It is NP, in fact, in the middle of the circle. Dodgy on that western side. They still have to push in, and the circle is relocated back onto NP for the 4th time in a row.
Goodness me, they're feeling pretty happy at this point. And the rotations are coming slowly from this southern side of the map that we have remaining. S7, NG, SNG. Anyone else down there that I can't quite see? Some of Nova Masters players as well.
PQ,
and
looks like they're in the mixture as well.
Everyone is still in the zone that's now coming in. A reminder that these later zones do more damage. We're 7 phases into this circle at this point. You got to get a move on into that circle pretty quick here.
And if you're RG, you're thinking, well, we've been playing so well for so long. We have 3 alive, it looks like.
It's got to feel a little unfair for them. Like, we've survived for so long, but so many teams are still up. Although, if one more team goes down, they'll finally be out of that 1-point placement range.
They certainly was. FBI does go down. Their team has been struggling as well, starting at 26th position as RG are now getting beset by this S7 player alone in the bathroom. But he goes down, and with him, his team. So now we're into the top 10. They are in the placement points now, RG. They're turning it around.
I'm so proud of the boys. They're getting there. Still a lot of players yet to get inside this circle. In fact, it's only NP who have positioning inside here. One of Nova Masters players is playing with the very southeast edge, but everyone else are now coming on in, and looks like one of Nova's players has just driven a car straight in.
And he certainly has. He's trying to crash the middle of the circle, getting in there right and fast. Aim locker now gets the knock onto one of the Justice players, but in return, the RG Justice fight is breaking out. Justice do have a better bit of a position for this as we're into the top 7. Losing some teams there. It might have been RG, in fact, that we have lost. NG are on their way.
Still in with 1.
They are still in with 1 at the moment.
No Panic 2, the only team with 4, but Justice and Nova with the ability to revive and get back to that status.
It is Nomad Gaming that found themselves in the center of the circle for a long time. They are only down to 2 players though, so their limit of control will be failing as Nova Monster now get a knock onto Justice.
That was a knock that was revived though, so Justice still with a chance to get back into things, and they're going to get some more damage out of NG as well.
Somewhere along the way we did lose SNG, but now we are losing Justice as they're trying to cross these fields. They've got players aiming all over them. The spray comes out, it's one of the knocks, but that will be the end, I believe, of Justice as they go out in 7th position. So unable to capitalize on their game 1 victory.
That said, they've easily done enough. 3 chicken dinners out of 5 games, and a top 8 placing with a couple kills. You're going to be fine with that. Now it comes down to, well, really, ROYALE squad to stay alive as they can, as long as they can, and No Panic 2, I think, could also do with the points.
We've got the top 5 teams. We've also got 2 Nova teams in the top 5 teams. So again, this Nova squad, they're both having good showings on this day so far, and that's good for Nova Monster Shield that were really knocking on the door of elimination if they didn't have a good day today. But Nova Esports, one of the only teams with 4 up, No Panic 2 and Nova Esports in the prime position right now as Dodgy have 2, ROYALE squad has 1. Just waiting for these snakes to get in the middle.
Zone shift again, it's northwest. Nova Monster, they're probably going to lose their last player here. Aimlocker is going to move on pretty quick. The rest of that zone is coming in the meantime. No Panic 2. Got a line onto him, so yeah, he's just going to go down to the zone at this point and deny there's... No, never mind.
Ends up getting picked off, so that will be them in 5th place, Nova Monster Shield. Nova Esports now, the lone representative of that organization. As NP are hearing and seeing some smoke action going on in the building in front of them. That looks like the squad of Dodgy, who are only 2 strong. We do have the ROYALE squad player, the last man alive, on the corner of a building. Getting smoked out, a knock comes through. It is the Nova Monster player getting knocked by a Dodgy player. Dodgy player goes down in return. That is Seaweed, the white cloaked bandit who has been knocked and confirmed.
Even We've been hanging on to him all game, hoping to get some cheeky snow camouflage, but unfortunately not the case this time. NP with a pretty good position here, sitting up high in a building, but they really should have a good position at this point, as they've been in the circle for the last 4 shifts, it feels like at this point. Nova are going to have to move a little bit to end up inside that zone, and the problem is the zone's about to shrink again.
Yeah, and this will be the end, or the dodgy player at the moment. He's just sitting, waiting, biding his time. There is only one player from that squad left alive. The Royal Squad 2 only have one player. He's on the outside, creeping on in, as we see Bandit from Nova. Just 5 kills for this game, so he's had an excellent performance. He'll need to get another 5, I'd reckon.
I can't even see the shift on the radar under all those players. I think it's central by the looks, but it's incredibly difficult to tell with all the players on top of each other.
It will be moving central as a nade knock comes through. That's a nice nade knock too. It does a fair chunk of change damage to the other teams. Will Nova try to storm the compound now? They have one player moving in. Some more nades ring out upstairs. No panic too. I think that was the confirm onto one of their players.
They're going to try and get this kill done here. The duel is long and drawn out. Neither player manages to win it. Second one comes up for support, and they look like they're just going to go straight and try and convert this.
Straight down.
Getting picked off. They are full confirming to this, or committing to this though.
There's back and forth from these two squads as we see only 2 teams remaining. This is the end fight in this building as the Nova plays, or the player tries to vault through the window. And that is the last thing you want to be doing in a gunfight, is crawling over a window. The zone is now chunking down, is killing all these players. The knocks come through, the last man from NP goes down, and that is a Nova victory.
First time we've seen it, and a really big game from them as well. Look at that kill count. 14 kill chicken dinner for them, that's pretty big. NP, they were pretty much rank tanking there, only 5 kills. Speaking of rank tanking, RS, 0 frags, but they get themselves a third place. I'll be pretty happy with that one as we go back and have a look at the game that was, at the highlights there. Pretty good first showing on Vikendi, I feel.
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting game. There was a hard shift west, as you can see, just popped out on the screen there in the highlights. There was some early troubles. There was some good play from some of the top teams. We did see SNG drop out very early again. Justice did do themselves justice, picking themselves up. Top 10 finish, a few kills, but this is
7th,
nice spray down. Yeah, top 7, so that's pretty decent. As you can see more and more of these trades come in, and some of the Justice players getting knocked dead. This was the bathroom fight, and that ended that squad's career, as this was the squad of PQ getting pressured out by NovaMore's to shield. There was lots of action in this game.
A lot of fights inside houses, and particularly inside that bathroom, we had 2 clashes between 3 different teams, I feel like, so that got a lot of action, certainly more than you'd everyday bathroom would, and a lot of very chaotic house battles, I guess it was, up and down stairs, in and around corners, in walls, and I think that's probably the most indoor sort of action that we've seen so far in PMCO 2019. It's been a lot more outside fights, players crawling around ridge lines in the final circles. We did have a game yesterday on Sandhawk, I believe, no, it was Miramar, where we had, 2 days ago, where we had it ended by heals, players sitting on either side of a wall, essentially, spamming first aid kits to survive the zone, which had completely closed in. But other than that, it's been mostly outside, so a nice change-up for us in our first game of Vikendi.
Certainly has been a nice change-up, and we saw some new weapons getting used there too. The Bison came out a little bit, had the G36 go hard in the paint as well. So a lot of new weapons, new gameplay, some rotations that were a bit old. Teams played it pretty safe. That was a long time there. We had 15 teams alive at the 22-minute mark. Which
is ridiculous.
It was a long burn of that one. We managed to make our way through it though. A lot of teams actually did get knocks though, but teams couldn't get the confirmed kills on the squads themselves. There was a lot of squads that got down to 1 player or even 2 players left remaining, and they managed to rank tank themselves into the top 10, 11 teams. Thoughts on Vikendi? Are you for it? Against it?
I like it so far. It's a bit of a change of pace, because it's still a big map, but there certainly wasn't as much going on with the vehicle rotations as we've seen in other maps. There was teams getting in vehicles, but a lot of that was played out on foot as well, in and around buildings as well. We had a couple of compound crashes, but mostly it was just teams maneuvering amongst these buildings, and that was really helped by the fact that the town over on the west there, which started with M, and I don't want to pronounce it wrong, so I'm not going to go for it.
Was it Motrova or something?
Something like that. I can't remember, and I don't want to get it wrong. But either way, there was 4 or 5 teams in there for most of the game until the circle shifted hard north, so that was sort of helpful that the circle did pop hard west, but it didn't move too much apart from the hard shift north away from that city. It was not really too many vehicles needed once all teams were inside that initial circle.
And here we see the points from this game that was Nova with a 14 kill chicken dinner, ranking in 34 points. No Panic 2, a good game for them. getting in 19 points. Dodgy, they had the kills to get themselves up to 14 points. We see ROYALE scored there.
Third place, by the way.
Third place, yeah, with 10 points only because they hadn't managed to find themselves a kill. Monster Shield up into the top 5. They're doing well today. A much needed turnaround from them. Justice, our team had 8 kills, so they pushed themselves up into 4th on the points. Team Gravity unfortunately couldn't continue on from their momentum from game 1, only securing 2 points. But it is a bit better for the teams as we see Justice still out on top with those 3 chicken dinners. Nova now has overtaken SNG Club. So that's a new 2nd place team. The gap is closing.
Nova squad, SNG's Club even with 9 points today. I think they were on 84 yesterday, weren't they?
Yep.
9 points in 2 games. Not the explosive start we're seeing from them. Of course, Justice, 3 chicken dinners, untouchable on 125 points right now. What I want to see is if that decent finish for RG was...
Yeah, it was RG that had
RG,
okay for fight that time.
Okay, yeah.
See Juplay, with only 4 games played, they're still on the first page of the board, so they're going to be looking to capitalize on that tomorrow as we see more of the same on the 2nd page. Nova Monster Shield have been rapidly moving up the scoreboard today. They have been climbing and climbing. They were one of the teams that were in the lower section of the scoreboard on day 1, but now they've climbed themselves up. Still no RG on this board just yet, but we see some of the teams. Team Gravity, they are in 21st position. They started the day in, I believe it was 24th, so they've climbed up a few.
RG
but
up to
enough.
27th.
Yeah, they've done well for themselves there. They've got a few more kills, but they still have a long way to go. They have used up 2 of their games. As we see the kill leaders now, 17 is the mark to beat of TechU. Krasva has got himself 16. John Wick still hanging on despite having a rough day at the office. TMG is closing out on 4th place, and Bandit from Nova, who's had a big day for himself on 13. So starting to see some kill leaders pull ahead now as the Justice player has moved to 17. John Wick in 3rd place and 14. So
and as expected, our kill leaders from yesterday are no longer there as they're not playing games anymore. So they managed to stay in after 1 game, but have been forced out of things now by just more opportunity for kills they're not getting.
And now we will take an opportunity to take a break, and we will see you at the return of this commercial advertisement break thing.
Highlight,
whatever we have to sing. But we will see you straight after the break. Thank you for joining us on the PMCO Fall Split of 2019. This is your wildcard groups, and we'll see you in a moment.
And Unicorn Gaming on the low ground as shots rain out.
Oh, this nade.
This nade could be beautiful. It might catch him sleeping. It got him.
That was
now
a
they
really
know
nice nade.
That's 1 knock. PG have fallen or found. NG.
Fighting against Nomad, yeah.
Yes. They seem to be trading back.
They're going to get all in this car. This could be a block here for DQ.
He's pulled the trigger early and he's got 2 down already.
Goodness me. Good spray, but he is essentially 1v4 here. It doesn't look like his teammates are with him. Nomad just got knocked out in 6th place, but with 10 kills, so points are looking pretty good for them. Marauders and Juplay continuing with this battle here, trying to get some smokes out for cover, get themselves some room to maneuver, but Juplay have picked up at the perfect time. They're just going to knock and to confirm onto Duran. All these players already down.
Push comes in from Unicorn Gaming.
Oh my goodness, big push.
They managed to take out 2 players here, so now it kind of evens it up. Now there's only 2 players on the side of DDS. It's like there's 3 on Unicorn, still alive too, so suddenly the odds shift in their favor. 1 player knocked from each side is going to be a 3v3.
FJ pushing up around the smoke, trying to make the play, and he will be able to get the knock as well. Looking for the confirms here. They're not ready for him behind this smoke. Still 1 player here, and he's way too close. He's going to pretty much get a team wipe by himself. I believe that's all of them. Nova are done just from this play from SJ. He just wiped out the entire team by himself. That is 1 player.
Your game. Vivo V15 Series. Vivo.
welcome back to the PMCO Fall Series. I believe it's the Fall Split, powered by Vivo. And this has been a great day of gaming so far. We were 2 games down. I can't wait to see what comes up next, to be honest. And if you're ready to see what comes up next, you need the V15 Pro. We need to see the gameplay on that. It is powerful. It is immersive. You will be unrivaled on that machine. And if you are using that, you can go to the YouTube application on your phone and go to the PUBG Mobile Esports channel. Catch all the action of today's play and the previous day's play. Once you've done that, where are you going to go?
Once you've done that, you're going to go to the App Store, mate.
You are
the
going to go straight to the App
Store
Store
or the Google Play Store, and you can download yourself PUBG Mobile. If somehow you're watching the PUBG Mobile Club Open, in which the first 2 words are PUBG Mobile, and you don't have PUBG Mobile installed, then, I mean, welcome to the broadcast, I guess. You might be slightly new to this world, maybe coming over from PUBG PC, but Google Play Store or the iOS App Store, where you can find yourself a copy, I suppose, of PUBG Mobile, download and play for free.
You know who found themselves a chicken in the last game was Nova. Who found themselves a big chicken dinner too. So that's our first Vikendi game out the way. It was a good game. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed covering it. I enjoyed the way the game played out. It was a slower one.
Burn, than what we've seen from the Wildcard region in the last couple of nights. It's been most of our games in Wildcard so far have had kills early on. Even a squad wipe pretty early as well has been common, but we hit 22 minutes. and a half minutes. I think it's still had 15 squads in play, which is rare. Very rare. I mean, the other day in South America, we had 13 minutes before first knockout, but even that game sped up after that, right? I don't think we made it to 22 minutes with 15 teams still in.
No, we certainly didn't. So, bit of a slow start to Vikendi, and maybe when the groups are playing through more and we see more Vikendis tomorrow and the next day and the next day, and wherever else we see it, we'll see some faster paced games. We haven't set the tone just yet for that map. The next map we're going into is Miramar. Now this map is a bit of a big one. It is a one of the maps we have seen lots of land shifts, not a lot of water shifts, a lot of northern circles, a lot of northwestern circles.
Give me island circles, please.
We're not going to get an island circle. It's just not happening. This is the map in question as we see the water treatment plant in your picture now. Moving across to some of the towns, some of the churches in the picture. It is quite a nice town. A lot of driving accidents on this map actually. There's a lot of little divots and dips and ditches in the road. As we see the plane, it is on the northern side of things at the moment as the dragon gets applied to the plane. It's going from east to west. It will be heading north the whole time too, only at a slight angle. So teams will still have most of the places that they're usually used to dropping in
available. Give me an island circle, please. I want it. I want that island circle. It's so unlikely to get it. This plane, by the way, is going to lock out most of the lower half of the map. Prison Island, accessible, but a decent hike. You're going to have to pretty much learn and land even, and grab a vehicle if you want to get there. The good news is if you do that, you're going to do pretty uncontested looting, but it's a bit of a way, and I don't think we'll see many teams stretch themselves quite that far.
No, I believe maybe Lost Leonis is about as far, maybe Chuma Sacra, or Seeker, or Sarah, or whatever it is.
Mate with a box helmet here. So safe.
He's heading in. He's heading in.
The ultimate way of not being scared of jumping out of a plane is doing the cover box in your head.
Yeah, well, you can't see where you're going, so you'll be fine now. We've got a lot of options for the loots in this map. It's a big one, so you don't often see too many knocks early on, just because the teams have so many options to loot from, as El Pozo is the last destination on this plane. It looks like SNG might head down there. 404 and SNG were the last two teams out of the plane, so they paid the full ticket.
If you're in the plane, mate, you might as well go the full flight.
Yeah, might as well go the distance.
Ooh, and it's an eastern circle, and the islands are still in it. It's happening.
No, the islands are only just in this.
No, I believe
they are.
It's going to hard shift east
every
time.
Yep, sure, mate. And I'm Santa Claus, but there is no way.
You are? Dude, I want a pony.
You're not getting a pony, that's for sure.
You're a terrible Santa Claus.
Yeah, so you haven't been good. That's the problem.
Well, rough. S7 getting the early looting happening here. TDS up above them as well. Bit of high ground for them, but no one's going to have anything too much in the way of weaponry or armor just yet. Still early game, so might not see any engagements at this sort of range for the moment.
Well, that was Impala on our map just then. TDS moving around just to the south of Impala on the warehouses there. We did see the Miramar circle end in a warehouse, and it was a heel off to the side of the game as the weaponry was picked up. No, it wasn't this warehouse. It was a similar looking warehouse in a different location, as they are a few warehouses all across the map. As we Obviously, Seaweed has changed his skins now that he's off Vikendi. He is adapting as the environment. He is a chameleon.
No more snow camouflage for him, which is it's good, considering there's, well, very little snow on Miramar, I think it's fair to say.
No, I don't think there's any snow, actually. Not even in the mountains.
No, there's none.
So, no need for the white clothing in this map. He has put his leather jacket back on, looking cool as a cucumber.
404 with control of a compound here, getting some looting happening.
This is Deadly Squad with them. Deadly Squad were one of the teams that needed to improve their standings at the start of the day. 404 have also been pretty quiet. They were in the top 8. They were in 8th position at the start of the day, but I believe they would have fallen a few pegs down from there now, as teams like Nova Monster have suddenly surged up the ranks. Don't see 404 hanging on to that spot for very much longer, but they have done enough on their first day to kind of reassure themselves that elimination isn't probable.
Not likely at this point. I mean, even so, this is not our final games for any of these teams. So
No.
it is getting towards the point where if you're in the bottom 8, you want to start to lift things up and make some progress, but this is by no means the elimination games. It's just going to start to tell us the tale at the end of the night after we've played 8 games for each of these teams. It'll start to give us an indication with only 4 games remaining of where everyone is going to be sitting. There is the top 10 or so on the screen.
AsiaGaming still hanging on after their massive chicken dinner game they had. Game 1 of the tournament kicked off with a bang. Duplay still in there too. They're still yet to play, those two teams. I believe Marauders are still yet to play as well. The rest have been playing in this lobby, so they will be 6 games deep. This is the 7th for them, as some early action might be happening here. This is around Los Leones, in the ruins around there, as one of the FBI players dropping very low, not quite getting knocked out, but he has been spotted. He has no meds either, so any damage done to him, it's permanent for now. No vest. It's just a level 1 silly hat. He's running away, but he's not going to make it out. He's going to be knocked and thirsted, I believe, as the players are starting to rotate away. He's been left to the wolves that is the PQ squad.
I mean, there's so little that his team can do there. If they do commit to try and save him, they're most likely going to lose everyone. They've just got to cut their losses at this point and get out, and it should be Killstealer who goes to confirm this one.
And PQ have had a pretty decent day, actually. They've been finishing pretty high up. They're having some nice kills as well. They've been one of the teams that probably have had one of the better days. As we see the rest of that FBI squad making tail and running. This is a good map for the buggy. Very hard to flip this car, and the radio is playing loud. It's fine, the suspension can handle that.
You're right, but it was a bit of a jump. Also, the Nova Monster guys, by the looks of things, rotating on the right-hand side of your screen. Doing some, maybe, I mean, I thought it was going to be 6 stunts, but they're in slow cars, so maybe not.
They're running around the crater at the moment. We have NG in there. That was our first blood that was taken earlier. You saw that on the screen as more blood is being spilled now. SNG, they've had a very quiet day from their perfect day 1 almost, with nothing but top 3 finishes. They've had rough stuff going into their second day of group stage games.
That said, they've still got to be feeling pretty comfortable here. The pressure is not on them at all. They can afford to fall. Well, look, they're in, I didn't actually see, probably around 6th or 7th at this point, no lower than that, maybe even a little higher. Yep. They've got to fall all the way to 25th to be at risk of elimination, so they're chilling at this point.
They were City pretty, but the form does dictate that maybe going into that next round of group stage games where we're down to 24 teams, if you're going in on a bit of a cold streak, you might lose a bit of confidence, and that's the last thing you want to do, is lose confidence, because when you're gaming, you want to be confident, you want to get those compound pushes, you want to take those shots. Very important. They were doing that on day 1, so maybe they can find some form at the back end of today. Had a little bit of a break there, about 15 minutes to reset. Come back and maybe put on a bit of a show for the back end of today.
Approaching the 7-minute mark here, and still no real damage done, just the 1 player has fallen. Started off with 62 in the lobby, now have 61.
Yeah, it's not a bad way to look at things. It's just the shift of the circle hasn't happened just yet, so now the zone is moving in, and it will push the teams together. So that will push more action into our screens. TG up at the top side of the map, as well as SNG and Ghost are the squads that are furthest out. Justice have finished up their loot at Campo Militar, uncontested of course, as that is a very rare drop. They will be moving down south all the way towards El Azhar.
Yep, there you go. Want to get that one more try?
El Azhar.
El Azhar, there we go.
There you go. As we see a knock come through, that is PQ in Los Leones having another knockout. And they do finish it as well. That is DS going out. Well, not out, but DS player going down. That is the deadly squad. They don't need any more knocks. They are trading blows with this PQ team. The PQ have the height advantage. They have the high ground, Anakin.
They do. It's over for DS. It's how it has to work. It's law at this point.
Yeah, it is the law. As this DS player is cowardly cowering behind what seems to be a rock.
Killsteal's actually using his smokes to go for a push
Oh,
there.
aggressive
He's getting
too.
spammed. He's going to be knocked out of the smoke as well. Looks like he'll just be able to get back into cover, but
Not a rocket to burning car.
has to reconsider his decisions here. Just moving around frantically, trying desperately to avoid bullets, and neither player knows where the other is. And unfortunately for Killstealer, he will get confirmed. 3 entire mags go through that smoke, and unfortunately for him, just enough bullets will find him.
And the spam rings out now. Deadly squad, they will be looking to retreat after losing 1 player. They are a squad of 3, so they're only down to their last 2, which is not where you want to be in this early stages of the game. PQ, they're out for vengeance. One of their brothers was taken down. Unfortunately, they won't find it as DS get in the car, they get in the whip, and they are rolling out. Tunes playing. Seems like everyone's got the radio on, actually.
I mean, you need it.
To
be honest, like,
boring without it.
Yeah, and let's be real. If the shot's coming, you're going to hear them over the radio.
Yeah, that's true.
You're probably not going to place too much value on listening for footsteps in a car. Probably won't be able to hear it over the engine anyways. So, might as well. Circle rotate, circle shift.
This is going to be cool.
Nailed it. Well done.
Nailed
well recovered. Circle shifts into the southwest.
Some rocky driving.
The west. Look, it's fine. They're stunting.
It is the
how
western
this
circle
works.
shift, as you did mention before. This will suit teams that were coming in from the west. SNG, they've rotated down pretty south. 404 will be joining them in that race to enter the circle. TG are making their way into. Ghost
So
are nearby, but
M249 in the crate by looks.
yeah, M249. That is a car shredder and a half. Also the level 3 equipment there, as well as a medkit. Medkits obviously do fit well. They heal you all the way up to full HP. There isn't that little pesky 25% that you miss out with a first aid kit. So that's quite handy. They do take a little bit longer to apply though. This man's giving up the driver's seat.
Yeah.
And he's
Someone else take
he
it.
wasn't confident in driving, and I don't blame him. We've been ragging
Boys,
on the drivers
take my
on screen.
license away.
Yeah,
Don't crush him. Okay.
they didn't.
See a couple of car battles here,
This is
but
the DS squad.
look like they'll be getting out of there safely for now, but there is other teams on the other side of this compound that could be a bit of a firing
It
zone
is
for
just
them.
a 2-man gang in the 1 car for the DS boys, so they'll be looking to get nice and deep into that circle and cement themselves, maybe some placement points as the shots run out, and that is a flaming vehicle. They need to get out now, fellas. They do run into the warehouse where they will find refuge for a moment, but not for too much longer, I do believe. If people know that that is the team with only 2 players, Nova might get they might get a bit bloodthirsty.
They've
They're
got
poking it
4
out.
players alive still, so they might just go in and try and get rid of these guys, but
They're
it's a
sussing it
big
out.
warehouse that Diaz are hiding in, so a lot of room for them to take cover.
A lot of angles to watch out as the Nova players do approach that warehouse, and they're probably not going to take too much. It is right in the middle of the zone, so they've managed to find themselves a nice warehouse here from the DS players. They are light on meds, light on loot, so I believe they'll just be chilling out as much as possible as one of the Nova players manages to get 1 shot in with that SLR. There's 76 people going in, and they get the knock actually, so maybe it's on now for the push. This last Nova player is running to last DS player now is actually starting to take shots in retaliation, trying to weigh it off the enemies, but he's going for the res. He's going to hear the footsteps on the outside of the fence line as the Nova players, they start swarming like sharks.
I think he's going to be okay though. They are in the very center of that warehouse. They've got some time to get that res off, but
They
still
are
it's
getting
a 4
surrounded.
versus 2, and they are indeed getting surrounded.
He's not going to be able to get any meds off as the crash
Surprise
comes
car.
in. It's not exactly what you needed, just to park the car in front of your mates as they were trying to push in. Now as the Nova players start peeking out wider, looking through that window, trying to get some shots in. Nothing's connecting too much so far, but this is a good angle for this DS player, but he is showing his head. Does manage to get 1 knock, but won't be able to confirm it just yet. As the player comes in from Nova, he manages to push one, gets the knock. He hasn't found the last player though. He's very well on the outside, and that's the last player of DS going down. Deadly squad, they've had a shocker of a day, shocker of a tournament, and that continues on Miramar. Unfortunate, but it's got to be someone going out in last place.
exactly that. It's got to be somebody. Unfortunate that it tends to be one of the same couple of teams every time, but we're starting to see trends emerge. The circle shifts very hard east.
Both Nova squads are actually in the circle. Nova, the main team, or the unbranded team, is at the junkyard on the northern side. The Nova Monster fellas are nearer towards the graveyard. You saw them in combat just before. They are rotating a little more central now, as Minas Generales has looking to be the main source of the... Yep, that's a rock. Yeah.
Yep, nope, you're not going to move that one.
That's a bit big for you, mate.
Oh, well, they'll get it going again. More car action here for S7. 2 players in each car, 2 cars in total. There you go, quick maths. They are pretty stress-free at this point. No one too close to them. They've got the road to themselves.
They will be rotating in for free, essentially, on that south road.
Wow,
Here they are.
Looks like they do want to go off-road here, at least sending their first car straight into that circle. And still a lot of teams over on the western side of the map. Teams like TG, NB, SNG, all still on their way over. Ghost Esports, pardon me, getting pretty close to the circle now, but not all the way in. And that circle is quite small now, so we'll start to see some gunfights here in just a second.
You would think so, as we see 2 squads now approaching each other. This is the Nova Monster guys that we were on our screen earlier, pushing in with RG, who have found themselves in the center of the circle again. Justice getting a knock from a car explosion. This is a big fight. RS Justice. Justice look like they're back on their old form, picking out a lot of shots here. That's 3 players they've knocked down. There is only 1 remaining. They go for the thirst on the player that was knocked. Now they are healing up a little bit. They'll be able to revive their teammate, but this looks to be a 3v1 situation, as the player from RS has chosen to just book it out of there in that car.
Not even sure he's going to make it out. No, he will just about get some cover in time, but a very near thing. John Wick, in the meantime, has been knocked by an explosion. Yet he's still in the open with his car. They somehow will not find the spray onto that. Due, by the way, this player is, oh goodness me, currently our kill leader. I think he got knocked a fraction before the car exploded, so that was an instant confirm.
Looks like TG and 404 have been trading blows on that southern side. More frags go out. TG are wearing the worst of this. We're down to 14 teams as TG continue to get piled on the paint by this squad of 404. John Wick did go down. Babbitt has been on the money so far. He's just sent the last player alive to TG, but she will go down, and that will book them out a ticket early. They've got a long road ahead of them, a long break now as they wait for the 4th map. 14th place, not happy there. There's still 1 more Erangel to go though for the night, so it's not all lost.
Still low, not the ideal start. The FBI rotate past with their cars, but 404 put enough shots in to make them reconsider. That said, there is another car up the top there. Pretty risky pass, taking past all 404.
Only 1 player able to get the angle to get the spam in on that car, and this is good to see from 404. John Wick going down without a kill, but they still managed to pick up 4, and they're still in the game, still in the hunt. So they've been changing up their game style a little bit, not relying on John as much, which is good in a way, but I would like to see John try and survive a little bit longer. He's been the first player to go down in that squad multiple times tonight. I think of all 3 games he has fallen by the wayside.
Ghost in a pretty tricky position. They've got 1 player outside the crater, but 2 more still coming over the rim. A lot of players coming from that eastern side as well, but also for Ghost, there's still, what, 3-4 teams worth of players behind them?
Certainly
FBI currently split by 404 as well.
There's a lot of teams outside the circle, as both the Nova teams look like they might try and crash into the same compound together. That is dangerous stuff for them. But on the western side, we have that PQ team with TDS, which is dodgy. Might be engaging in a fight here as they're starting the shots rain out. S7 is in the vicinity. NG is making their rotation too. They try and think this is maybe a free way in as we see the first knock go down. That is RG on the south center of the circle. They have a lot of teams around them. Ghost being just one of them. The grenades rain out from SNG. They are in the area of this fight, just to the west of it. There are so many squads in the vicinity. As we see,
explosion as well.
Yeah, that is onto NG. That's
double,
claimed
actually.
2.
That's not good for NG. 2 players knocked. Let's try and find a way to bring these back, as the majority of teams have now made their way into the circle. 404 will be late, but the southwestern half of this circle.
It's another car explosion. That's 3 dead. Confirmed dead 2 for that
their
squad.
cars are getting shelled by S7. Only 404 and DDS still yet to make it in. S7 technically as well, but they're right on the edge, so they're practically already in. Same deal for PQ. And this next circle shift could decide a lot of things. We've got teams spread out all over the place. The compound in the center not really occupied either, as we continue to have gunfights going down. NP getting some shots into SNG. SNG, of course, our top frag team from yesterday. Top 3 finishes in all 4 games, including 1 chicken dinner. they're going to be looking for a few more points here. They can rest on their laurels from yesterday a little bit, but if you can extend your lead, you might as well.
Two of the big guns trading blows at the moment. Nova and Justice on the northern side of the circle. They're both inside the circle. They're both getting trades on with those DMRs, so I assume that they'll be able to get the revives out with that, just being quite the distance away from each other. As we see this junkyard or this area with the power plant or whatever it is, it's getting quite messy. FBI's last player is in the mix on the bottom side of the map with 404. He's left alone there. 404. I don't believe they'll let him get too many kills here. He does get one confirmed, so that means there's only 2 players left for 404 after they lost John early on in the piece. S7, they've managed to find themselves into the circle as that last FBI player gets picked off. Pesky man with 404 are now down to 1 player. Justice raining shells onto Nova. Last 404 player getting shelled by the side of Ghost. It's only a matter of time, you feel.
Fabit might just be in the open enough to get taken down too, and that last 404 player Arnhem has got himself away, but it's only a matter of time. He's in the zone, outside the circle, in a car. His prospects maybe not so good.
He has managed to get himself into the vehicle, but he's going to go straight past that GDS squad. Don't know if they've managed to pick him up just yet, but look for him entering the grave very soon. I can hear the shots raining out. Maybe on him, maybe not. As we see a lot of squads pulling up on this area. S7 now are joining the party. RG waiting for them to silhouette across the skyline. They do. Fabit goes out with 404, leaving the game. We see
gets knocked there as well by RG at range. There go Nomad Gaming out in 11th as we come to 10 teams remaining in the server. That circle is a hard shift northeast. That middle compound is almost entirely out of play at this point. There's still 4 teams occupying that.
Nova have been gifted the circle with both of their squads so far, as both of them are in position. The Nova main team have been controlling a lot of area, taking a lot of gunfights versus this Justice crew. They know who it is too. They've got a few knocks, so they would have called out, hey, it's Justice. We need to finish these guys off real quick smart, otherwise they will come in and backstab us at the most opportune time. But that southern side of the zone is where the action is happening. That's where we have our camera situated at the moment. There are a lot of players, a lot of squads going in as the car rotation tries to come out. It is car-on-car action. It is Mad Max action as one of the cars trying to get up that hill real quick smart.
Risky for both teams. They are potentially where they can be shelled at. They're going to have a quick crash and not find enough damage. Actually, no, they do get a knock. The car not taken down, but they grab themselves a knock at least, and Ghost now getting fired on by Nova as well. That may well be them going out. A lot of players go down and get confirmed. This should be pretty much all she wrote for the Ghost Boys, yeah.
This is where you want that M249 to spray at those cars. I don't know where that is on the map at the moment. We'll see Justice, Nova, and Nova Monster Shield all with 4 players. No Prank, no Panic 2, not Prank, and SNG. They all have 4. Dodgy with 3. There's still so much gunfire to go out in this southern side of the map. You can hear it popping off. Nova Monster are going to gatekeep a few teams here. Their prime position is a big spray down comes out from NP. He's picked up 2 of the members of Justice.
No, that's Justice wiped. He just did it all himself.
Fantastic work.
It's a 4K for him. I don't know if he had any before, but that was certainly an entire squad wipe. I don't know if his team helped him out, but big plays there from Tima.
Tima getting a massive spray down there. That's a lot of loot that he's going to collect. Those Justice guys, they hadn't been in too many close distance fights. There's a lot of nades that he's got the opportunity to pick up as NP are pushing in behind SNG next on their radar. RG are in the area.
Flew this car at the bottom sneaking into.
Yeah, this is sneaky beaky like, but NP are getting picked off by SNG now. Walker will be confirmed. Thirsted gone out of the game. Have a break, son. 9 teams remaining. NP Tina, we saw him popping off earlier, but he's gone down. Nova onto SMG. This is a big fight on this southern side. RG now getting involved, but only in the worst way possible.
RG need themselves some good placings here. Same as before. They're still looking for some good points. Again, they've stayed alive for much longer this time, but there's still 9 teams in it. They've only just got themselves out of that 1-point placing. They're going to need some kills here, and that's a good start. They will knock out one of SNG's players, who's, of course, the dominant team so far. Not so much today, but throughout this group overall, or at least throughout this group.
One of those SNG players actually found himself stuck in a crack there. I'm not sure if he's managed to get out of that. He managed to fall down a little bit. Looks like he's had to run the long way around. Mistiming his jump there. See a player lurking underneath. He's going to get straight down, and that's him out. NP, they dropped down.
No Panic 2 gone.
Yeah. After a good performance from them, taking out our current leaders of Justice, they do fall as more knocks come through. SNG are cleaning up. RG player goes down once more. Look for the confirm on this. They know there's lots of players in the area. The last RG player is cowering in fear. Might be able to try and res his mate. SNG don't know that there are 2 in that area. He does get the resurrection off.
Just
we see
about.
more shots raining out. Ooh, SNG player is dropping very low. He does get knocked down.
Oh dear, this is not looking good for RG here. They do manage to get 1 knockback in trade, but still all 3 players stuck in this position. It's not looking too great for them. They do still have a knock to recover from as well. SNG now want to push up the hill, but the high ground is held by Nova here. Look at them on the left-hand, or the left-hand side of the mountain, upper middle of your screen. They have the high ground well and truly, and they're now going to get sprays into all these teams rotating.
This is free pickings for this Nova squad on top of the high ground. As you said, they've got everything, and no team can run up there really to contest them. They will have to get killed by long range as the grenades fall out. Bandit only on, well, not only on, he's got half of the team's kills now out 4K. They've got men watching the flank everywhere. That is the advantage of having 4 players alive at this time. A lot of SNG just went out. I believe that's them gone from the game. So a better game from them, but still not ideal. PQ getting railed by Nova Monster. So both the Nova teams featuring in the kill feed. There is 1 RG player working his way up. He will be met by the force of the Nova Monster squad. One of his mates is knocked out, I believe. No, just a little bit unhealthy looking. They will hear all these footsteps and the sprays come down. One of the Nova Monster players does get taken out too early as the drop shot comes through. Another drop shot comes through, but RG are dropping very low. The Nova Monster players are getting killed, but not confirmed. He was first Nova Monster player there. That weakens them down to 2 players. Nova Monster Shield, they're struggling. One of the PQ players, the last player alive, I believe. No, there's 2. We'll get the nade kill onto RG and send them home.
It's worth noting RG actually were playing pretty well in that final duel, and then they got spoiled by Nova up on the high ground, spraying down and ruining that whole battle for them. That could have been them getting a higher placing, but they come in 5th with 3 kills, I believe, which is still a decent improvement for them.
Now PQ find themselves almost out of the game as they've got 1 player remaining. It is both Nova teams still in the mix. Ghost still around too. They've been having a rough day today, but this looks like the best game of their night so far. Nova Esports, though, they've already got 1 chicken dinner. Can they make it back-to-back? They are in the best position to do it as PQ drop out is their final 3 teams. Nova Esports, Ghost Esports, Nova Monster Shield.
And still Nova with such a strong position.
This is Nova action too, and the spray comes down.
My
One of the players drops straight down into his own death. He will get confirmed, maybe. He does get confirmed by his sister team. Nova, another one drops straight down. He's going to die by the spray. But he does manage to get picked up. The jumping off the cliff. We do not recommend cliff jumping without a parachute. If you are base jumping, please use safety harnesses. Use a parachute because that was just too risky.
I mean, it works out for them. Somehow that works. I don't think it should have, but Nova still with 3 players up to the 2 of Ghost. That was incredibly risky, but by doing it, they knock out Nova Monster Shield, which was the other big threat to them. Now it's a 3-on-2, and look how spread out they are. They're even going to send a car around to try and find some
Ghosts
info.
do have an advantage with the zone at the moment, but there's no helmet on this player. The vest is damaged, but now the knock comes out, and it is go time for Nova to push in. The M4 spray comes through, and that is a back-to-back chicken dinners for the Nova squad. They have been popping off today. It's a big one too.
15 kill chicken dinner.
Bandit with 8 kills, 8 of the 15s. That's over half. He's been doing very well today. Wouldn't mind seeing him at the top of the leaderboard for Nova, maybe in the kill count. But
he certainly should be close. I'm not sure what his individual total was at before that game, but adding 8 to it is a big total, considering that our bottom 5 were on like 9.
Yeah, Nova have had top 3 finishes today, or top 4 finishes today, and 2 chicken dinners. They're going to get so many points as we see the highlights of match 3. The game that was the Miramar map of the night. We saw lots of sprays down there. It took him 3 clips to get through that smoke, but he eventually did it. Managed to tail his way in, and this was these poor boys getting railed by the Nova Monster squad. They came in 4 players to 2. Unfortunately, he didn't hear the footsteps coming up the stairwell and confirmed kills. Goodbye. This is Justice getting some fighting on action early as the car explosion comes through. This was TG, unfortunately bowing out. Another early knock for them.
Wasn't really the greatest of times, but look, RG I think picked it up a decent amount. This was this is the 4-man wipe from Timo here. Krasava as well, also one of our kill leaders from SNG Club, had himself a couple of kills this game, and this is it for RG, or RG I should say. Like, they're getting some decent performances here, they're having some decent kills, and it all got spoiled by the Nova guys up on top, unfortunately, and this nade was just a little bit too much for Jiatian. Nova, I mean, they had such a strong position that entire time. They were sat up on top of the mountain. They were looking very comfortable indeed that whole time. They could shell all of the teams with pretty much with impunity because none of the teams could really afford to stop shooting at each other to shoot back at them.
They were king of the castle, and even when they decided to climb off their throne, base jumping down and forfeiting their lives even
risky
to the other Nova squad, that was very risky. And one wrong moment, one bullet goes astray there, and maybe they could have forfeited their free chicken dinner. They did have 4 players up to the 2 of the next squad, so well played from Nova. Risky biscuit stuff, but sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to have the gusto to go for the big plays or be the highlight plays, and jumping off the top of a cliff in the final circle is definitely a not a big brain play, I'd say, but it is a gutsy one.
It's absolutely gutsy. And the thing is as well that as much as that is a low percentage play, it's a low percentage play from both sides, right? You don't expect to survive it if you do it, and the other team don't expect you to do it. So I did manage to allow them to catch out Nova Monster's shield. Having a look at the scoreboard here, Nova Esports, 15 kill chicken dinner, 35 points in total. Nova Monster's shield, 10 placement points, 3rd place, but 8 kills pushes them above Ghost.
They do push above Ghost, and there to PQ. They've been having a nice day too. RG Star, that they were at the bottom of the leaderboard going into today, but they've climbed themselves up a fair amount, getting 10 points. That's
that's more points than they had at the start of the day.
That is. They had 9 at the start of the day, and they've got 10 in the 3rd game of the day. So their day has been improving a lot. Justice at the moment there, taking out a few kill points for the game, but not enough placement points to get themselves up too far. They've still at the top by 1 point though. Nova had such a massive day, and
75 placements, 54 kill points.
They were beyond 30 points away from the leaders at the start of today, but they have had an absolute beauty of a day. This is a day to remember for Nova. They'll be very happy with themselves. The Nova Monster Shield guys as well at the bottom of your leaderboard there have climbed up from the depths. They were on 23rd position at the start of the day, so they've been a rapid climber. They've had a few top 3 finishes, Dodgy as well. They have had a decent day themselves, but 404 is a team that really has struggled today as they've dropped all the way down to 15th. They started the day in 8th.
Another interesting thing for me is the kill gap between the top couple of teams. It's 30 kills for first place, 34 for, 50 and 54, my mistake, and then into the 30s after that.
So you'll see the top frag is going out and really getting the points going there. Team Gravity
is safe.
They're safe at the moment, but they still have only 1 more game to go, and you see all these teams on 4 games, so fate isn't in their hands just yet. They still have 4 more games after today to prove it, and there is Bandit. After that 8-kill game, he has set himself into the leaderboard. 2 Nova players have managed to find themselves in that board. John Wick still after a very poor day so far, he's still hanging on.
I think he's, what, 1 kill up from where he was at the start of the day.
He might only be 1. But
these Nova boys have done really well. Chiyu from Justice as well, sitting on 19 now, has been some pretty big fragging, some pretty big fragging performances from him.
Consistent fragging performances as well. Nova, the story of the day though. 2 or 3 finishes inside that top 3, top 4 situation.
2 chicken dinners.
2 chicken dinners, back to back too. So that's very impressive from them. They were quiet on day 1, but they have been coming out all guns blazing today.
They have indeed, and I mean, the thing for me is if they'll be able to continue this, if they get another chicken dinner here, that would be 3 back-to-back, and that would also equal Justice's 3 chicken dinners. But given how Justice have been playing, they haven't been doing so well today. They're already only 1 point behind on the side of Nova. If they can get another chicken dinner here, it's a lot of work to do, but they will skyrocket into first.
They will now. Justice probably need a break to reset their mantle, and we need a break here. Thank you for joining us on the PMCO 2019 Fall Split. We will be back just after these messages.
Unicorn Gaming on the low ground as shots rain out.
Oh, this nade.
This nade could be beautiful. It might catch him sleeping. It got him.
That was a really nice nade.
That's 1 knock. PG have fallen or found. NG.
Fighting against Nomad, yeah.
Yeah, they seem to be trading back.
They're going to get all in this car. This could be a block here for PQ.
He's pulled the trigger early and he's got 2 down already.
Goodness me, good spray, but he is essentially 1v4 here. It doesn't look like his teammates are with him. Nomad just got knocked out in 6th place, but with 10 kills, so points are looking pretty good for them. Marauders and Duplay continuing with this battle here, trying to get some smokes out for cover, get themselves some room to maneuver, but Duplay have picked up at the perfect time. They're just going to knock and to confirm onto Tehran. All of these players already down.
Push comes in from Unicorn
Oh my
Gaming.
goodness, big push.
They managed to take out 2 players here, so now it kind of evens it up. Now there's only 2 players on the side of DDS. In fact, there's 3 on Unicorn, still alive too, so suddenly the odds shift in their favor. 1 player knocked from each side is going to be a 3v3.
FJ pushing up around the smoke, trying to make the play.
He's
He will be
got
able to get the
one.
knock as well. Looking for the
Here's
confirms here.
2.
They're not ready for it behind this smoke. Still 1 player here, and he's way too close. Going to pretty much get
There's
team
3.
wiped by himself. I believe that's all of them. Nova are done just from this play from SJ. He just wiped out the entire team by himself. That
He's
is
up to
1 player.
Your game, Vivo V15 Series. Vivo.
Welcome back to our last game of the day for groups A and C, I believe it is, for the fall split of the PMCO 2019, powered by Vivo. What a day we've had, but it's not a day without a nice phone to relax at the end and watch the games on. And the phone you need is the Vivo 15 Pro. It brings you more immersive experience in more powerful performance. It's outstanding, and it will get you a glorious chicken dinner.
And that's exactly what you want. And if you are just relaxing and watching the games on your phone, then while you're there, you can launch the YouTube app and head on over to the PUBG Mobile Esports YouTube channel. Got to say that right so you guys can find it, and I've flubbed it horribly. PUBG Mobile Esports YouTube channel. There you go. And if you've been watching the game and when our game's ended, if you want to play the game, you can get PUBG Mobile for free on the iOS App Store and on the Google Play Store for iOS and Android, respectively.
Certainly can, but one team that's been using that app a lot is Nova, because they've been practicing. They've come out from their day one.
Gaming.
They've been gaming hard. Their day one was a bit of a shambles. It wasn't the cleanest out you'd expect from the Nova squad, but they've come out in day 2 of their games, and they have been absolutely destroying the competition, getting 2 chicken dinners in a row, back to back. Can they make it a hat trick? Erangel is where we will return to just shortly, but what a day it's been. RG climbing up, some teams dropping down a little bit. SNG going from their glorious run of the first day now to a faltering around a little bit today. See teams like TG and teams like Deadly Squad haven't had the best of days. There have been glimpses of brilliance, but haven't been able to close it out just yet.
I mean, the big moves for me in terms of like the bottom of the ladder, because that's where we're kind of looking now. Like top of the ladder, bunch of kills, bunch of placement points, it's impressive, right? But the results that are going to matter starting now as we are past the halfway point in the group stage. For these two groups, of course, B and D have only played 4 games. We're heading into A and C's 8th, but everyone will play 12 games by the end of the group stage. That's what I wanted. Yep. So heading into game 8 now, we're almost 2/3 of the way through their games. So top of the leaderboard, great. Get all the points you can. Justice, you're in triple digits. Fantastic, great work. But what matters is the bottom of the leaderboard. And the big shifts for me have been Gravity have made it out of the bottom 8, so they're safe for now. They're only at 21, so they're not super safe, but they're 4 places for now above elimination. And RG, I'm not sure if they're out of the bottom 8 yet, but they've had some decent games finally. They haven't had anything groundbreaking, but compared to their 16th place no-kill finishes they were having yesterday, them getting around 10 or 10 plus points a game is a huge improvement. It
is a huge improvement. They went from 9 points at the end of the day to 10 points in one game. So they've already doubled up pretty much their point tally. Well, they're over doubled up. Yeah. So they've had a beauty of a day, and we are going into a beauty of a map. It is the original, the best, well, in my books anyway. It is Erangel.
Oh, I think it's everyone's favorite. The OG map, the beta map's been around for as long as the game has. 64 kilometers squared of classic PUBG. We do take a look at where this plane's going to be now. Looks like it is running, starting over the military island, heading northeast towards Kaneshki. So Kameshki, I should say. So leaves a lot in play. Yasmite are still available. Pachinki not too far away. Same with the school, ruins, Milta Power, prison. All of this stuff can be accessed. Georgia Pole probably not looking at anything like that. Let's see though. What I'm curious about is how many teams bail out over the military base.
It would love to be a bit of a military base brawl at the end of the day, but I think that most of the teams, you see one team, two teams are out.
3 teams.
Yep, so we've got a few teams
red
dropping
team,
out there.
Blue team.
It is a red team.
1 team, 3 team, red team, blue team.
There is a lot. So the interesting thing about this plane is it rides straight over the intersection just northwest.
That's 14 teams. Well, 4 teams, sorry.
That is, it's just over the northwestern, or just northwest of Shelter. There is an intersection there, and there are a lot of car spawns along that road. So that allows these teams to get up to Severny shooting range, Roshawk, and all that area if they do choose to.
This is by far the most teams we've ever seen with Military Island, by the way. In all the regions that we've done, Erangel, Military Island has always been the domain of like 2 teams, maybe 3 at the start. And it looks like, as soon as I say that, I'm wrong, because Justice appear to be going away from the Military Island, but we do still have TG, NP, and FBI here as well. So a lot of teams there. Of course, I'm excluding the time we had a military base circle, because that doesn't quite count.
No, a few players from TG are spreading all over the place. One of the TG players, Unknown, is going over to the northern side, and it is a northern circle as Roshawk is bang smack in the middle. Ruins is in play there too. Shooting range is just on the north. It has Georgia Pole in it, and this was a eastern plane, and it's a western-based circle. So there is a lot of rotation in from the south and the southeast that will have to be in play. As we see the teams looting up, we see on screen with a shotgun. This is some close quarters combat going down in Yasnaya. The Dodgy squad, no, Dodgy fellas, going up against Nova Monster.
Look how split Nova are. There's 2 players here, and they're essentially split right down the middle by these Dodgy squad guys.
RG already making the hay while the sun shines, getting a knock and a finish, I believe, onto one of the PQ players. So they're already,
that's a play down.
They've already starting their day quite well, or starting the last game quite well, as we see this man with captain's hat on and a nice leather jacket. With the Spartan helmet comes through. He's got an M4 in hand.
He gets pushed and he finishes the guy that tries to knock him out. He is thirsted by a pistol. So that is one of the Nova Monster players going down. Dodgy player will be able to get resurrected.
And Sharon here is just trying to grab anything he can. I don't think he actually had a gun at that point. And
Ooh, SMG fire rains out, and that's another player going down. He was alone too.
That should be a pretty easy confirm there as well. It's Nova Monster who are here. So both the Nova teams have been having a good time, but it's Nova Esports who have been having a better time. With that said, Nova Monster are still been playing pretty well, and they will not want to be going out here in 16th place.
No, they certainly won't. And I think now that they've had that one player lost, they will start to move away from combat and try and rethink their decisions and how they want to approach this game. Usually when you're 4 up, you can look for the fights, look for the trades, and try and get some of those kill points. But as soon as you drop a player, you have to rethink your situation, rethink where you want to be. You want to play for placement points. You want to get into that middle of the zone real quick. Not too worried about how much loot you can gather. More worried about how long you can survive and what you can make out of the game. As we see Seaweed, he hasn't changed from Miramar, so he hasn't adapted.
He's got a spooky backpack though, so maybe he's trying to scare people who sneak up behind him. That's clearly a legitimate strategy.
Probably not the strategy I'd do it, probably
try and scare them with bullets.
Try not to face the enemies with my back.
Nah, have a pen.
Yep.
Flawless strategy.
He doesn't have one at the moment.
It's true. Therefore, the scary backpack is of limited use. This is top-tier analytical content, by the way. That's exactly how strategy in PUBG Mobile works, just letting you know. Nova Monsters even are going to grab themselves a car, a buggy, get a couple players in it, and start rotating out. Kai doing a bit of looting, but his teammates should be able to swing by and pick him up.
I think the teammate's just going to leave him behind. He's going to have to find his own way out.
He's got a buggy. Yeah, no, they can't.
Yep.
Oop, crash.
Already, S7 crashing into NG.
Is there only one NG player there?
Yeah, there is only one player there.
Yeah, the others are spread out. If we have a look at the map, this should be a really easy kill and confirm them. And Gonzo actually dived out the window in a hope to find them on looking the wrong way. And, I mean, you got to try something. If they'd all been committed to that building, he could have shot them all in the back. But
okay, if he makes it out, right, like he gets out the window and he lands on top of their car, takes their car and makes the Great Escape, that's a play and a half.
There's a movie about that, you know.
What, The Great Escape?
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably is. We've made a lot of movie references today, actually.
It's literally a movie titled The Great Escape.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's a World War II movie.
Oh, okay.
About escaping from a maximum security prison. Anyway, we are making a lot of movie references. So.
We are. We have made a lot today.
That's okay.
S7 on the rotate. They found their free kill and they will leave now as NG have got players scattered all over the map, actually. This southern side of the map.
Like diving into a car. And this is actually a pretty risky rotate. There's a lot of players in this field. If he chooses to go straight, he'll stick to the road for now, which might keep him safe. But still, RS a lot of players
rotating
here.
Straight into the team. The AK spray comes out. It is not connecting too much. He gets knocked to half HP, but half HP is still enough to drive a car, apparently. A few bits blown off, that's alright.
It's a funny concept, isn't it? Trying to think of what varying HP levels would actually look like. Like,
yeah,
what do you do if you're on 1 HP? Actually, no, my favorite concept was what makes you lose 1 HP. It was a discussion that I found online once, and the answers were like stubbing your toe and hitting your funny bone, that sort of thing.
Stubbing
it's like
your toe
you
is
lose
more than 1 HP.
1 HP.
You can be crippled from stubbing your toe. There is
You're
that
right.
much pain that goes through your body when you kick a piece of furniture.
Someone also suggested paper cuts, but they're not 1 HP. No way.
No, they're awful things. They are really awful things.
The worst.
Maybe really inconvenient headache or something.
Or me trying to cast while I'm sick and unable to breathe. That's 1 HP.
Well, you've taken a lot more than 1 HP, mate, the way you're carrying it on.
Look, I'm let me be, alright? My lungs are betraying me. I talk for a living and I can't breathe. It's rough out here.
Certainly does sound rough, and that's alright. You'll recover, you'll live. I won't make you laugh because you'll end up on the floor having a fit. We see more gunfire raining out. That is SNG on top of a hill. They found themselves a few vehicles to rotate with, so they are going to be able to get out of here quick smart.
Indeed, still no team has been knocked out, but a couple of kills have gone through. Looks like everyone's chosen to keep things a little bit more passive for now and just go for some looting. This circle is pretty friendly to everyone. NP are only just coming up from the military base, same with FBI, but there's a lot inside this circle. Only a little bit of water, so not too much, it's inaccessible.
Yeah, I was going to say, the friendly part of this circle is the fact that it's got pretty much the minimum amount of water it could have got in there, as we see another knock go through. That is Ghost Esports getting knocked. They are a bit of a distance away, so it might not be able to get the confirmed kill. No, he drives straight up on top of him. Going to go punch him out.
Surely? Come on.
Just leaving him. That is brutal.
That is cold.
That is cold and brutal.
No, did he do it?
Yeah, he did. He just left him.
He did leave him. Yeah, team kill 0. He just left him there.
He just left him. One of the players going back for him.
They actually...
I think, is that a ghost player going back for him?
Yeah, he's going to get
He's
raised.
saving Private Ryan.
I honestly thought that might have been like a BM play or something.
Oh, I think it most certainly was, but it's going to backfire on him.
Backfire, because they'll be able to go res up. What?
He's just let a free kill point walk away, so here we are.
Yeah, look, all of Ghost is back here just like, don't worry, mate. I know you've had a traumatic experience. We got you. The nasty man has left inexplicably.
The nasty man has left. That is a very rare footage there, by the way. Incredible scenes.
I'd love to know the context behind that. If that was, I don't know, if that was...
that NG player is going to wait out.
Or maybe these two are friends, just like, yeah, mate, I can't do it to you. I did you kind of dirty.
Surely not.
I've said this in that before in various titles, where if you do someone that dirty, you're just like, you know what, I'm just going to give you another shot, mate. That's rough.
Yeah, but, I mean, surely
again,
it was
this is a competition. I don't know. We can't really speculate on that, apart from what the heck did we just see.
That NG player, in about 2 minutes or a minute's time...
He's going to get killed by Ghost, like that actual Ghost player.
Well,
it was Ghost.
And then he'll be like, hang on, I left you for dead on that road, mate. What happened?
I left you for dead. I came back. I don't even know what I'm referencing at this point. I'm sort of going with it. Zone closing in at this point. FBI on their way out of the military base on the eastern bridge. RS at the long-range engagement with Nova. And this is the Nova team that's been doing really well all night. Currently sitting up on top of the leaderboard.
I wouldn't be keen to pick a fight with them.
No, I certainly wouldn't, but they feel like they've got the security of range to spray away, and Nova will be slightly preoccupied for the moment with getting that res off safely.
Oh, it's a Terry 3 times. You don't want to be picking one of those up.
I don't know about that one, mate. I feel
What,
like it
Terry?
still needs to start with TH somehow.
Yeah.
Is there a name that starts with TH?
Thierry, one of the greatest Arsenal
Like there's
footballers. Thierry Henry.
Teresa, but it's still a hard T. Same deal with Tom. Look, if you know a name that starts with TH, probably don't do anything about it because we won't see it. But
It's Thanos. It's Thanos 3 times.
Thanos 3 times. Perfect. All right, circle has shifted south and central. Once again, minimal water in this circle. Just the river that runs from Georgia Fall through to Roshok. Yasnar on the other end, and most teams already pretty close to this zone.
On the northern side, Sen has spotted herself a crate and is helping herself to the loot contained inside. So, free level 3s going round there. Might even be able to get a nice gun.
Have to have a look and see exactly what they pick
But
up.
this TG squad, they've gone for a little bit of a different approach. Usually with this TG squad, they all stick together, they rotate around, very, very compact. But in this game, they seem to have spread out. Right from the start of the game, they've been pretty spread in the approach for the game. So maybe they've changed things up and taking a more unique approach.
Worth noting as well, this is a TG squad who had to change 2 players at very short notice before this whole tournament started off. And potentially still a bit of chemistry. Of course, there is probably a lot of context to the other teams, of course, we don't know as well. So, look, if you do know things about these teams that we don't in terms of the context outside of the game, feel free to reach out, get in touch.
Certainly always keen to learn.
Somewhere.
Always keen to learn as we have more teams rotating inside. Teams are actually staying away from Pachinki. Even though it's inside the circle, we have no team occupying it so far. Dodgy are rotating in on the eastern side, past the school, up in the hills that direction. There are some teams from the north that have to rotate in. It looks like the circle will shift south of the river, the Roshok River, as we hear gunfire rain out in our ears. It is RS who have tried to approach that crate, but they've found it empty. Sen was already there and already gone. She got out with the goods. You see some risky driving. Stop running each other over, boys.
Get the crate and get out. You'll be fine.
Bit of argy-bargy. Bit of rough housing. It's always fun in any game that has vehicles to run into your mates.
Generally open troll. This might just be an Australian thing. We might just be outing ourselves as terrible people, but generally harmless trolling in any title is amazing.
It certainly is, but it wasn't harmless for Method earlier on in the day as they managed to
well,
run into each other. That's an easy way to stop.
That's how you do a crash. Just
When
like
the brakes are broke, use the front.
Use the external brakes as they're known, or walls. NG taking some spam at DDS as they rotate through in their vehicles, but moving far too fast and up on top of that ridge. They will not be spotted. The dinner plate for Nicola not going to be able to get anything done, unfortunately. Unique weapon to this map. Not going to find too much with it there either. I should say. Still 16 teams up as we hit the 12-minute mark.
This has been a very slow game out of the wildcard region. One of the slower ones we have seen. They have had a few kills though, so it's not as bad as the 13-minute no deaths.
That was remarkably slow.
That's your teammates, by the way, mate.
Yeah,
so you don't
yeah,
want to be
just
aiming at them.
coordinating. He's the IGL. He's just making sure they're doing the right thing.
as we see it not come through. That is SNG onto the side of Dodgy. They are quite a distance away.
Picking him apart while they rotate, and it looks like Dodgy are just going to have to leave him.
That is quite unfortunate. It's not Dodgy actually, it's RG that's got the player knocked out on the middle of the road. But the circle is hard shifted west. This is good for Justice. This is good for
SNG.
Yeah, SNG are in there as well. DS as Dodgy now do rotate above Watertown. TG, they are rotating up Everest as they've collected a second loot crate, in fact. So that is some good fortune for them. Unknown will be the benefactor of that crate as Ralph has ascended to the top of the mountain. And getting that mountain position at this point of the game could be quite handy for picking off a few kills and third parties too.
It could be possible that if Ralph's up there that they did get something like an AWM or something from the other crate and Sense passed it over.
We see some gunfire going out as DDS try and crash the compound of SNG, and it's going pretty even at this stage. SNG have lost one player, but they haven't got a knock onto the side of Dodgy. They are all stacked up from Dodgy, so one nade could end it all. He's got one out. It's a bit off to the left. They're not going to get enough on that. It's not curving back at all. There's
no spin mechanic in PUBG, as much as that would be wild.
It would be very wild.
Cricket out your grenades. A lot of nades landing on both teams here, but no knocks found just yet.
The knock was revived on the side of Dodgy, so they're 4 strong. They're back in business as the car blows up. Not going to be able to use that one to escape. That Darth hero is done for.
That said, it's still 3 versus 4 here against SNG. They've only got 3 up. They lost Bling Q very early indeed, and DDS here are starting to sneak up on them. Getting the nades in through the window, that could be perfect.
Oh, he gets out of the bathroom just in time. Didn't cook it long enough. Some more nades flying out. This is very risky for the side of SNG. That was the nade knock, and
that's Krasava as well, who was their top fragger, and one of the players in the top 5 kills as well.
Spam come out. SNG are on the ropes. They've had a few rough games today. One of the ones to forget. So looks like Dodgy have made the call to all group up and go back actually. So they're all headed all the way back to loot up.
They're scared of SNG or just taking the opportunity to loot?
They must be terrified.
Oh, your boy John Wick back in action. 404 actually finding themselves 2 kills onto Nova Monster. Kai's going to answer back onto Fabit. There we go, 2 for 2 between Nova Monster. Actually, normal Nova got involved as well. It's 2-on-1 between Nova Monster and Nova and 404.
Nova are getting some kills back onto 404. 404 put up a very valiant effort. This is going on at the bottom of that Everest cliff. As we see Justice in Gatka chilling out. This Dodgy squad, they had a few kills, they had a few knocks. They didn't choose to push the aggression, and that might let SNG off the hook for just a little bit as the circle is going to start to shift in. Ralph has been found at the top of that Everest hill, and it is in the play zone still. He should be able to be rezzed or revived. I keep saying rezzed, but I should be saying revived. There's a lot of teams inside the zone already playing on that big mountain top.
And there's the zone shifting in
John Wick
just
with
a
another
little bit
knock,
as well.
this time
it's
onto
actually
SNG.
knocked out half of Everest there too. But all the players who are perched up high on Everest are still inside that circle, so they're going to be okay with that. 404 getting some more damage through. Looks like this is, pardon me, this is another high damage output game for them. That's what they've been looking for. That's what they had yesterday. Pretty consistent fragging. So good to see them start to get back into that sort of move again. A couple of teams rotating in, and all of them pretty much coming in on the eastern side. Nova coming in south, and actually could backstab a few of these teams. FBI, 2 players that are split. Justice in the compound in the very bottom of the circle. Nova, not yet decided where they're going, but looks like they might even want to long rotate all the way around to Everest.
This fight between DS and SNG has gone on for an ever and a day, and they don't have to move as the circle is still on them. S7 have heard the gunfire rain out probably. Even though it was silenced, you still can hear quite a bit. It's quite noisy. So more gunfire breaking out. RS onto DSS. This is on the western side of the map.
No, they go Deadly.
Deadly squad. They've had a bit of a rough day. They were in 30th going into today, and I don't think they've fared any better today than they did previously, as we see more knocks go on. That is TG. Ralph has been picked up, and he is picking off players. RS getting 1 player confirmed knock, but TG are getting compound crashed or cliff crashed by S7 on top of the mountain. So now Ralph has to turn his attention back to the other way, and Sen has been knocked. She's the IGL of that team, so now on the spectator as more knocks come out. FBI are taking another player down. spray comes out over the top of the cliff. FBI getting more knocks on the way. TG might turn tail and run here as they have picked up Sen.
Got a fair way to go though, and they will take a second to heal up. S7, none of their grenades landing just yet, and that one actually looks pretty perfect onto S7. No, bounces just a little bit too far behind, and that one also not going to do too much. Fortunately, it wasn't cooked too far, and TG did have the chance to move. In the meantime, Nova still doing damage to those boys, picking up a kill onto, or a knock onto one of those Ghost players. Killer, I believe.
Been doing damage all day. Nova, they've had an excellent day, and they continue more.
I think that's Ghost knocked out.
Could be. We only got 13 teams remaining. In our picture-in-picture, you can see the fight going on in that field. There is zero cover there, really. There are a couple of hay bales, but they can easily be accessed by those grenades. As the teams on top of this mountaintop, they're starting to get a bit claustrophobic. There's not a lot of room up there to play around. And the angles, they can get attacked from anywhere, as Justice do get a knock onto Nova. That is a big snipe. That is a very big snipe. A few hundred meters at least.
That's a really long one, but good to be able to hit those long-range snipes. There's a confirm as well, I believe. CM stepping up with that sniper rifle. There go Ghost in 13th. We saw that one coming, and they do indeed go down. S7 and TG still exchanging grenades. Nova starting to take the loss as well. Our champions of the night so far.
Unfortunately for Nova, they're not able to their momentum so far, as 404 have been getting so many knocks. I'm not sure how many have confirmed kills, as they've just been sitting inside that compound just peppering teams so far. But they have been doing a lot of damage. They're probably one of the higher damage teams in this lobby, despite not getting the points.
Look at that circle shift.
That is a very rough circle shift for those teams on top of that hill. They will need to leave, and they can't afford to rotate, because the first person that rotates is often the one that's in the open. Sorry, my distraction is John Wick. My favorite player in this lobby has started killing more people.
Your favorite player in the whole, the entire PMCO that we've seen so far.
I reckon Pedro would be up there too. A few cool clutches he's been popping off in the South American region. As we don't see many teams inside this circle so far. We have NP that have kind of control of that southeastern section. DDS and SNG, that compound fight that's been going on since probably the third or fourth circle, is still going to continue to go on, but there's been a crash. In they go. It is RG. They are met with resistance as RG and DDS are trading out kills. DDS are getting the advantage at the moment. Justice, meanwhile, on the other side of the map, but it's a 2-for-2 trade on the knocks. One's getting resurrected as RG are knocked out.
11th, that's still 1 point. And take a look at S7 as well. They've rotated 2 players off top of Everest, but the other 2 hung around. TG chasing them, looking for potentially some cheeky kills on these players getting out late, but looks like one will go down to the zone. Not sure they'll be able to find the other in that gun battle. DDS still here, eliminated, locked out in this compound. Nomad do go out in 10th there. 9 teams remaining, 31 alive at the 20.5 minute mark. This has certainly been a faster game. There's another crash.
Despite getting that compound crash, Dodgy managed to keep 4 players alive, but not much longer as 2 players down, 3 players down. This will be the end of the Stodgy squad as they go out.
That's such a fast and quick team wipe.
That was a clean one there. Dodgy held that compound forever and a day, but as soon as Justice showed up, it was all over Red Rover, as we see more knocks going all the way around the map. TG are met with resistance on the rotation as Nova has caught them in their tracks.
SNG and S7, both with backdooring teams at the minute.
This is SNG spraying down. They've been in this compound forever as well. They're spraying down onto Nova. They would like to take out that Nova squad that is in first position at the moment. They're spraying down onto that buggy. Those players are cowering behind it, but he can't quite get the confirmed kills. S7 are trying to compound crash into where Justice just turned up. Risky business going into their crosshairs.
Yes, indeed. The spray continues for SNG, and lots of spray happening at the minute. Lots of teams just trying to get some confirms without having to expose themselves too much. Still 2 teams with 4 players up. Nova with 3. This could be a big spray on the Nova though.
Is lining up. There's more players going down. That will be
double knock.
TG Unknown getting some kills there with the grenades. And there's down the play zone.
Anderson exposed. If he goes down, that's Nova out. Baha 8 shooting away, but not able to find it. That said though, one of those players has been confirmed, and there it is. Nova will go out in 7th position, so no triple chicken dinner for them.
Unknown doing a great job. Now he's cleared out that side of the map with the help of SNG, unknowingly helping him out a fair bit. SNG, they've only got the 2 kills to their name so far. They've been holding this compound for a while. Justice, you'd have to feel in the prime position. Yeah, NP still have 4 up and the circle, but Justice have been pretty good today. And as they start to clear out angles, 5 kills to their name. Not a bad result in this point of the game. Still 15 alive, so still plenty of kills to be claimed. Start to spray down again. This is one of our kill leaders going at it. Chu has been very impressive all tournament long so far.
Not able to find the knock at that range, but will get into the car with his teammates and be able to rotate out. But SNG are still here in range. Chu actually gets shot out of the car, and that is still an available target for this team. Half the lobby, it feels like, is shooting at Justice car at this point. They don't want them to replicate their performance from earlier. They are out of the car. They've run into TG. And that looks like it's going to be pretty much all she wrote for Justice. There they go. They're out. From 4 players to none in the space of about 25 seconds.
Well, TG is gifted a kill there as he was a low player coming straight into his loving arms, and they're having a good performance here. That's 5. They're in the 5th place minimum at the moment. So they've turned their fortunes around. Erangel has been a map of fortune for them today. They had a good first game on it. Now the spam comes out for these, trying to find these snakes. That's the last player from S7 in the crosshairs of SNG.
Nearly connecting through that bush as well. Not quite going to find it, but still 2 players up for this SNG Club. It's No Panic 2 who are in the driver's seat at the minute. Also Krasava, but that's another matter. They do still have 4 players up. Krasava, though, going to get sniped out of his car in a matter of moments.
That's the Royal Squad team that's been very quietly just moving in on that eastern side there. Are getting the confirmed kill there. The last player from S7 does take it out. So now we have 3 snakes in the grass. Royal Squad with 3 and No Panic 2. Could we have a new chicken dinner winner?
We could. If it's Royale Squad, actually, that would be their second. So No Panic, I don't think, is playing one yet.
No, I think No Panic would be the only chicken dinner with, well, the only team without a chicken dinner in this lobby at the moment. Still
Gravity.
alive?
I mean, it's such a big clutch for that one Gravity player to do it. But technically, they don't have a chicken dinner. S7, do they have one?
No, S7 wouldn't have a chicken dinner either.
Don't believe so. That said, they are solo players, and of the 2 squads looking most likely to get it, No Panic 2 do not have a chicken dinner, so certainly a possibility for them. Royale Squad with 3, everyone else solo.
No Panic with only 1 kill to their name, so they've been moving quietly up in from this south direction. Most of the fighting did go on in the west, so I don't blame them for having a small kill count so far. As they start to move the cars up, there is portable cover, essentially, and we are in a field where there is nothing but grass. You have to keep your eyes open, eyes peeled for those snakes in the grass. Unknown hasn't chosen to move just yet. Been sitting by this burning car for the longest time. He's now taking shots.
Are they trying to crash this crate? They are. I mean, that said, if they can get a green ghillie out of this, then that's going to be pretty annoying for the other teams.
Yeah,
that said, they'll also just take an upgraded gun, fresh level 3s, whatever they can get out of this. They've crashed 2 cars into it. That gives them a lot of cover and free time to loot this crate.
As we can see, Royale Squad know where they are. Unknown has taken a lot of shots. He did pick up the level 3, the crate earlier. That is
Unknown move.
No, that is not the nade we want. It's a smoke, I believe. But he has the AUG with a silencer on it. So, but now that they can see the smokes, and players will start to pay attention to that area because smokes just don't spawn out of thin air. He's going to have to move in very quietly as we see a man hiding in a bush. SNG's last player is taken down by S7. We lose one of the individuals as we see Royale Squad encroaching on this crate. They know something's up.
Here's the team fight. This is the 3v4. These are the 2 teams with any players left up. S7 and Team Gravity, both with solos. Best case for them is that these teams wipe each other out completely. And so far, the nade's coming in, not able to confirm anything. The team will go down, though. RS doing pretty well, but they'll get traded back on immediately. Their team confirmed the car explosion and another one as well. All of a sudden, No Panic 2 from 4 players down to 2. Royale Squad can still res their 3rd to continue that. And still, there is the growing threat of these Team Gravity and S7 team solos. The more players on these teams with multiple people who go down, the more viable it is that one of these solos could sweep in and clean up.
It certainly is. No Panic have been moving very carefully, but they are out of room. They are out of meds as well. They are struggling right now. Their players are low. Royale Squad have done well to put themselves in the driver's seat, but one of their players has actually just been knocked out by the play zone. It's not snaking fast enough. Got this man in the bush still hiding out. He's got a few meds actually onto his name. No kills just yet. There's only 2 kills on the board for the whole squad.
So they'll be looking for this chicken dinner here if they can
Another
get it.
player knocked down.
Shifts very central indeed. And you have No Panic can start to get the kills now, then all earlier lack of fragging will be forgiven. Everyone, though, snaking in the grass at this point. The 2 solos still trying to find any advantage they can. Unknown still has that AUG, so pretty good weapon for him to have if he can find an angle to shoot at, but while he's hearing a lot of gunfire, so far the bushes will obscure him from his targets.
Royale squad, they are trying to go for that resurrection that would bring up the player and return them to 2 alive, evening the numbers up. William is just closing in on that smoke. I'm not sure he wants to go for it. That tree in the middle pretty much marks bang smack the center. This circle is going to go down to the wire. It's going to be a heal off in the grass, I believe.
It certainly looks like
Royale
it.
squad choose to rotate away from No Panic towards William.
Unless someone wants to rotate in, it may well just come down to heals at this point.
Hail
Doesn't look
Mary
like anyone's actually in the circle. Skywalker from No Panic is close, but I'm not sure anyone's actually in there. And look at this.
More Hail Mary
All
nades.
of the lobby is sneaking in on their bellies at this point, but one of No Panic's players has been found by RS here.
More shots coming out from Unknown. He has 5 kills to his name for this game, so this is a big performance from him. As we can hear the music ring out. More shots. S7 has got their blast player taken down. RS now onto their last man too. They probably won't be able to get the res there. Another player goes down Unknown. He's found the 6th kill of the game for himself, and he's getting a beautiful spray
This
down.
could be
Could he win
doable.
it? Oh, he goes down just at the end. Royale Squad will claim the victory. Team Unknown going in 2nd place. Congratulations, Liam. That's a big effort from them. That will boost them quite up. They were sitting in 21st before this game.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty happy with that. Unknown with the plundered weapons from the crates. Big upgrade for him. Does allow him to get some serious clutches happening. And there was a moment at the end there where that 1v2 was doable.
It was.
Sprayed down the first, but then wasn't expecting the second to be right behind him. Started to look elsewhere for that target. Couldn't convert it. But nonetheless, a much better day for Team Gravity overall.
Yeah, they got some good games out on Erangel. Unfortunately, they didn't get much else on the other maps, Vikendi and Miramar. But all in all, a pretty decent day. The big story of the day was Nova claiming those chicken dinners back to back. Justice were consistent, but SNG, the Mr. Consistent of this tournament so far, have been knocked down a peg as they didn't manage to claim a chicken dinner. They didn't manage to claim a top 3, I believe. They were in struggle
for them. They do have that big performance yesterday to rely on, but it's Royale Squad who got themselves their second chicken dinner, I should say. Of course, as you said, the highlights of the day really are Nova. Those boys played so well and still had a decent, a decent showing in that last game.
They didn't play too badly. They were camping that western side, getting a few kills here and there. 404, also a kill-heavy team from the first day of group play. They were a bit quiet today. I didn't expect them to come out all guns blazing. I thought they overperformed a little bit on the first day, but they still had some moments in this last game. They had some long-range kills. John Wick appeared in the feed again, which you like to see.
Well, I mean, you love to see it. He's your favourite player at this point. And I mean, I don't blame you. You certainly had some very high kill performances. This, the first couple games today weren't so much, but due to a big performance yesterday, he was able to hold on to his spot in the top 5 kill leaders up until the start of this game. We'll have to see in a second if he is still there, but he was certainly up there in the frag department. That said, Justice getting some players way up there as well.
Yeah, Justice, Nova, they all had players climbing up there pretty quickly after their big performances today. Tomorrow is going to be very exciting, though, to see after 8 games where the teams sit, who's in that elimination zone, and who's top of the pops too. I mean, we still have Duplay to play in this in this group as well, and they were still sitting in the top 8 with only 4 games played up until probably last game knocked out. So they still have a lot of room to work with. This has been a fantastic game of play, and this was the end result of the game.
Team Gravity, that's a big one for them.
That is a massive one for them. Getting 8 kills, 14 placement points. That's 22 on the board. That almost doubles the points that they started on from the day. Royale Squad picking up 28 points for their chicken dinner effort. Nova with 8 kills.
You know how I said they didn't play so badly? Like, they didn't play super well, but they still managed to get 8 kills, so they still finish up 3rd overall for that last game on Erangel.
That's actually quite surprising. I thought they finished a lot lower than that. I thought they didn't want to get many more placement points. I don't think they had 8 kills either. 404 rounding out the top 8 from that game. Deadly Squad, they've had a forgettable game. Nova wants to shield. A rare blip on the radar from today. Dodgy had that compound forever and a day, but couldn't make the best of it. Nomad in there as well. Ghost dropping pretty early. PQ had an uncharacteristically poor performance on this last map. They had a pretty decent day. As we see overall, it is full of chicken dinners at the top. Nova and
They've
Justice.
managed to pass the team with 1 more chicken dinner than them by 1 point.
I think 62 kills. Royale Squad moved up to 4th place with only 24 kills. They've been placing well, not been killing too many teams though.
That's a huge takeover in terms of standings for Nova. 62 kills in 8 games, outshines Justice by 7, outshines SNG in 3rd place by 20 kills. I know that they're only like, what, 29 points ahead, but being 20 kills ahead of third place is pretty big for them. They had some big games today.
They had some high fragging games today. As we see the top 8 all dominated by teams that played today, obviously. Royale Squad being one of the names that you didn't expect to see up there too hard, but getting a chicken dinner always helps. As we see Team Duplay is the top of the teams that haven't played just yet. 404 managed to squeeze themselves inside the top 11. Nova Monster Shield, they've had a big day as well. They've managed to get inside the top 10 for now, though. We still have two sets of groups to play. As we see more and more going out. RG Star
up to 24th. They've got themselves out of the bottom 8 single-handedly. Now, I don't expect them to stay there because there's still 16 more teams that are yet to play another 4 games. So I think they will be pushed back into that bottom 8. But I don't think, based on what we saw from them the other day, I don't think Way to Champion will be passing them. So they might just put themselves in a decent position to avoid some relegation if they play well in the last 4 games.
Way to Champion still with a donut for the kills. And here we see the kill leaders. It is Bandit on 22. He only managed to add 1 to his tally. Fasava only on 21, and then we have
Jowzy, I guess.
Jowzy, and then we have Chu and TMG from Justice.
I love that though. Our top 2 teams are Nova and Justice, and half of their teams, 2 players from each, are 4 out of our top 5 kill leaders, which is, I mean, what you want when you have teams playing as big games as they did, but it's still good to see that there is indeed that bragging power. And unfortunately for John Wick, your boy, he's fallen out of the top 5, man.
Though. Yeah, a poor performance from them today, unfortunately, 404. John Wick, the first 3 games, he really didn't get the traction going that he had before. He was kind of down first in every engagement, and he didn't really get to play the game too much. But what's surprised there is actually the SNG player still that high on the kill leaderboard, sitting in 3rd place on the kill leaderboard, despite their pretty poor performance today compared to what they're usually up to. So he's still obviously getting a kill here or 2, kill there, kill or 2 here or there.
There you go.
That's some English for you.
Not bad.
What a day we've had though. An exhausting day. It's been a long one. We've had some very long games. The last 2 games, I believe, were very long.
Yeah, like both upwards of 35 minutes, I think.
Yeah, Vikendi was also a big one too. So had a long one, an endurance day, and the teams have well-earned rest now, but looking forward to the games tomorrow, see where everything settles out at the top 8, and I hope you're looking forward to it too. That is going to be the end of our broadcast today for the Wildcard region. Stay tuned, check out the YouTube channel, and we will see you again tomorrow.